What is going on, everybody? It is episode 355 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It is Mary. And happy Friday. The week is over. It's been a hard one, honestly. Brett's feeling much better than he was yesterday. Thank God.
Yes, I'm going to work to keep my coughing to a minimum today.
Yes. And today, as you can see, we have a special guest in the studio. Welcome, Decoy Voice.
Yeah, I'm Decoy Voice. I do a small channel on YouTube. I talk about crime. I talk about politics and just culture in general. So really happy to be on this podcast over here. So thanks for having me out.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
How did you get into doing what you do?
A long time ago, I knew a guy that was just very good at talking. So I was like, oh, man, you need to have a podcast. I made him a podcast around him. He quit, made a podcast around a different person, and then they quit again. So I kept on going at it, and somebody said, hey, you should cover things like that, like crime and politics or whatever. So I started doing my own channel just for me, and then it just kind of took off. I think we're sitting at 200,000 subscribers or some change, and then we also have a lot of people in the chat. So everybody from the Decoy squad that showed up over here, really appreciate it. Thanks for dropping by. It should be fun.
Yes,
Decoy
hang out
squad.
with us today. I'm gonna. Yeah, somebody says my voice sounds better. It sounds a little bit better. I don't sound my normal. I was making a joke yesterday that I should do now that we have to do like ads. Like I need to do it in this voice because it sounds more cool than my normal
your
voice.
gravelly voice.
Yes, it's not
Your
quite as high as
movie
normal.
trailer voice.
We had a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about a bunch of actors, and these ones broke my heart, some of the names on this list here, that virtue signaled to Hollywood about stopping gun violence because everyone knows that Hollywood thinks that they can fix everything themselves while taking none of the responsibility. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Katie Price, who is a famous glamour model from the UK going back over a decade now. Her daughter had some absolutely horrible things to say, mainly that she, at 8 years old, wants to do OnlyFans like her mother, which is just boggles the mind, dude. Dylan Mulvaney has broken his silence. You know, there. I did it, Mary. Did I just commit a crime? Yes. I committed a crime.
Media.
Their silence.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to do it.
Has broken their silence about misgendering, mainly that they think what I just did there should be a crime.
You should be in jail, Brett. You should just rot in jail for the rest of your life.
Because of what I just did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully not. Hopefully, like, the door doesn't, somebody comes up and is like,
We're about to get, like, swatted.
Yeah.
There's a warrant for your arrest currently right now. It's been written up.
Not good. Not good.
I mean, I don't want to live in the world that Pokimane and Dylan Mulvaney imagine, where we should be arrested for being mean on the internet.
Terrifying, actually. We're going to talk about that, and then we're going to have a discussion about Mattel just released the first Down syndrome, a Barbie doll with Down syndrome. I don't know, is it called Down syndrome Barbie? I literally don't know if that's what it's called.
I don't think it has an official name. It's just part of this new diverse and inclusive line of dolls that they're putting out, and they've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about it. And I heard some people, like, when I brought this up, like, their instinct is to laugh, but I don't think this is actually something that's, like, necessarily something that you laugh at. It's something that I think there's actually a reasonable discussion to be had about something like this in relation to the concepts like diversity and inclusion, which we often make fun of because most of the time when Hollywood talks about it, it's very surface level and plain as day that they're virtue signaling. This is a different case, so we're going to get into that. We got a bunch of other stuff. Mary, if you're ready, we will just get right into it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Let's do it. All right, so we got some stuff to start off the show today. Number one is that last week we talked a lot about Cleopatra, and Cleopatra. There's a new Netflix series coming out called Young Cleopatra, and they're very mad because the actress that they casted in this is black. And last week, several people from Egypt were like, "That's not right. That doesn't make any sense." Now the
Someone
Egyptian
was like
government
suing Netflix. A lawyer from Egypt was planning to sue Netflix for forging historical facts.
Yeah, they wanted to ban Netflix in Egypt,
and they have much more strict media laws. So I understand how that could possibly fall under the like what you would need to charge someone with a crime there, but
yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, for this, now the Egyptian government is speaking out. It says right here, it says, Egypt has accused Netflix of misrepresenting history by casting a black woman to play Cleopatra, its most famous historical figure, in a new series. The government statement issued Thursday marked an escalation in a feud that has sparked demands for the show's cancellation amid a broader debate over representation in popular culture.
Thank
Mary.
you.
Jeez.
We've got a super chat from Quite Blackpilled. Appreciate the grind set yesterday, guys. Yeah, we were really on our Sigma grind set yesterday.
My voice was even worse yesterday, and I was basically passing out during the show.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was not in a good place yesterday. So thank you. Also remember, guys, before we get started, I might as well just do this now. Yes. Before we get started, guys, remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already, turn the notification bell on, and remember, any super chat, $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion and read it on air. And actually, I do want to read yesterday, in case he's in the chat.
You missed one.
Clef the
I'm
Misfit.
sorry.
Yes, go for it. Do you got it pulled up, or do
No,
I?
you
Okay, I got
it.
it. So yesterday, Clef the Misfit said, in relation to my voice, he says, should we just rename the show Pop Culture Bronchitis? Brett and Mary, are y'all okay? Also, I agree that you should get a mascot, Tom the Pop Culture Chameleon, named after Tom Cruise. I like it.
Or Tom Poole.
Yes,
who has
that
the
would
show
be good.
Tomcast.
Oh my gosh.
Tomcat? Yeah,
Yeah, somebody could do that. Especially, did you know that Tom from MySpace is like a travel photographer now? He he goes around and he goes to
Live your
resorts
best
and
life,
shoots photos.
King.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he sold all his stock and was able to move on, and he wouldn't have censored us. We would have been fine if we left Tom in charge of social media. At least that's my opinion. So it says, Egypt's Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities argued that the documentary's nature of the feature requires those in charge of its production to investigate accuracy and rely on historical and scientific facts. This one seems like one that could go all the way to the time of release, which is on May 10th. So it's very interesting because they're not bogged down by the same sensibilities we have here in America, which is one of more multiculturalism. Whereas out there, it's very different. The way Egypt sees media representation is very different from the way America sees it.
I mean, there are other multicultural societies in the world than our own, but they treat it with a different value system, clearly.
Yes.
And want control over their own narratives.
Yeah, it says Queen Cleopatra, which is released May 10th, features Adele James in the lead role. A casting decision that the streaming giant says is a nod to the centuries-long conversation about the ruler's race, but which officials in Cairo have dismissed as blatant historical fallacy. And that leaves us open to this world where everything's going to be liable to be changed down the line.
There is a centuries-long conversation about the rulers. Since when?
I know, right? 2016 and later, maybe. Like I've never heard this discussion before either. That's new to me.
But have you seen it like recently on TikTok? There's a whole bunch of like creators on there that say, "Oh yeah, Asians were originally black. Like black people went over to China and they helped them learn how to like fish and how to clean themselves." And there's this bizarre thing where they 1,000,000% believe that Asians, like the first samurais, were black. And I'm like, okay. I've read fan fictions when I was a kid. I understand that that's what it is, but now they're just going too far in the sense that they think that, oh no, we can just fanfic our way into saying that Asians were originally black.
But it shows you how
insane.
dangerous the world of social media is, because information travels so fast and people are so impressionable that these types of ideas can catch hold before anyone can really reel them back in.
Well, it's the thing is, it doesn't even have to catch hold. It just has to get those triggers on the algorithm saying, oh, a lot of people commented on this. They were saying the guy was an idiot, but it still got all those right triggers. So we're going to push this out to the masses, and you're going to have somebody very impressionable seeing that and be like, oh, wow, Cleopatra was in fact black.
Yeah, like it's not the people pushing back that you have to worry about. It's the people that aren't pushing back that you don't realize, those impressionable people that don't have the time to look into it further. Like, oh, I didn't know that. And then it just cycles and moves on from there and becomes a disinformation campaign without really meaning to be from that person. But he becomes kind of, in a way, not to be rude, a useful idiot to the actual nefarious purposes of the person who made that content. Yeah, it's not good.
Also, this is produced by privileged Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah.
Ooh, but speaking of Jada Pinkett Smith,
She has some bad news on the horizon.
womp, womp, womp. They canceled Red Table Talk. So we're going to have, if you want to go watch.
Who's going to miss it? Who's going to miss it?
I've never heard of it.
if you want to watch Will Smith get humiliated, you're going to have to go elsewhere.
Yeah, this is basically like Jada Pinkett Smith's talk show where she gets to say everyone else is in the wrong and she's always in the right. All the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And airs out her own family's dirty laundry, always in her favor.
Yeah. The worst thing about it is they try to use social media in a way that normal people use social media, and it doesn't work when celebrities do it.
Yeah.
Because it never looks authentic when they're posting stuff like that.
It's getting canceled because it was on this Facebook Originals platform that they're getting rid of.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
What was it called? It was like Apple TV Plus, but like even less relevant.
Yeah, like all these tech companies are going through like mass layoffs right now.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you cover anything like that on the channel? Like,
Not so much. I'll cover more like crime centric stuff.
Yeah.
I'll do.
So, outside the offices of all these places,
Yeah, I mean, just because it's just unlivable at that point in time
in
out
San
there.
Francisco.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or AKA Elysium, the actual rendition of it, because that's what it's become. So
Yeah. Yep. So poor for her. That's too bad. But also we have an update from Bam Margera. I don't know if anybody's been following this story. We've talked about it a couple of times. But Bam Margera turned himself in the other day, and Lamar Odom has offered to put him up at one of his substance abuse facilities free of charge. Which is, very nice. You'd hope he would be able to get some help.
It's crazy that Bam is posting through this whole thing. He's posting selfies. He's posting all about it on Twitter and Instagram throughout the entire process.
Yeah.
I think it's making the situation a lot worse for everyone to air it out the whole time.
Yeah.
Rather than go through it privately.
You should go through things like this because it's very hard to be introspective if you're constantly posting externally, posting content outwards. It's very hard to look inward when you need to make changes if you're constantly, because very rarely is anything anybody puts on the internet a 100% accurate depiction of themselves. You tend to whether it's editing a photo, posting something a certain way, it's still a facade in a lot of ways. And it's very hard to be honest with yourself when you need help if you're posting about stuff like this on social media. There's a reason why when you go through rehab, they take your phone.
Yeah.
Like, you're not allowed to contact the outside world.
it almost looks like it's a publicity stunt at this point in time, where it's just like, oh yeah, does he have another movie come out, some more stunts coming out, and Lamar Odom needs to be able to promote that he has, in fact, all these different rehab centers. It just seems...
Franchised them like Subway.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, Bam's going through like a rut. Like, he's been really bad. Like, he's very clearly on a spiral right now.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to take it serious when it's coming from a photo caption. Is that his Instagram handle, Captain Creamstain?
He says, I just got out of the courthouse with my lawyers. Everything went great, and the false accusations of what my brother says are not true, and he will be sued for defamation, as well as being evicted from Castle Bam sooner than later. The reason I lost my cool is because I read his phone saying he wants me back in California, and he wants to find a way to 302 me. F him.
So that's different from 5150.
Yes.
Yeah, what's 302? I don't know.
I don't know if that's an involuntary. That's not what it was in Minnesota, but
different
an involuntary commitment to a rehab facility might be. But that was not the designation in Minnesota. So yeah. So hopefully he's okay. And then also, guys, Post Malone says he's not on drugs. I don't know if anybody here loves Post Malone. I love Post Malone.
We talked about this before because he was getting a lot of shit for losing weight, which is ridiculous because, on the other hand, when Lizzo is the size of a planet, everyone claps for that.
Yeah.
And has no concerns whatsoever about her health.
Yep.
So he had to clear everything up on Instagram. He said, I hope you're having a great night. I wanted to say that I'm not doing drugs. I've had a lot of people ask me about my weight loss and I'd suppose performance on stage. I'm having a lot of fun, never felt healthier. I guess dad life kicked in. I decided to kick soda, started eating better so I can be around for a long time. Next up is Smokes and Brews.
But it's like, I like Post Malone, but did you see the video that everybody's freaking out about where he's basically on like he's on the lean on stage?
That's an older video though, right? Yeah.
He has a long history of being super drunk during performances, but I think lately has been better about it.
Yeah, because you don't get that from soda, so...
No, and for like, he used to get really drunk.
It's not the best for a singer either.
No.
It really messes up your voice over time.
Yeah, but auto-tune doesn't get affected by that, so...
Could end up like me right now. It's really funny because we were going to cover, there was a story the other day about a country singer named Morgan Wallen.
Oh, there it is.
Morgan Wallen, who he lost his voice before a performance, and then people were already there.
They were about to sue him because he canceled his show.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is the guy supposed to do? Lip sync?
Just...
Is that what you wanted?
That's what they want. Well, you could do that. All right. Also, did you want to show the Britney Spears clip? Is that something we were going to show today?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't
All right. That was different. We've got cringe of the day, however.
Yes.
Yes.
We
All
have
right.
Cringe and cute of the day.
Here is cringe of the day. I have not seen this. I should be checking this stuff ahead of time, but it'll be on that screen over there.
I just have free reign over this.
Yeah. Mary is the cringe connoisseur here, not I.
I guess that's my life goal, is to never be on this segment of your show
Yeah,
at any point in
This is
time of my
every
career.
insufferable female lead in an indie movie.
Here we go.
Oh, shut up. I'm not mad. The way I see it, people are like chips.
What?
Spicy or acidic.
Yo, what?
But would it kill you to be sweet? Open up. I dare you.
I'm just picturing the people at the grocery store who are watching this get filmed.
don't
Like,
get
what the
it.
hell are you doing?
And he never did. Come on. Didn't you say you needed cold cuts?
It's awful.
Wait,
What are the people at the grocery store doing while they're filming this stuff? Like, they're just like, what are you doing?
They're just like, don't look, don't look, don't look.
Yeah. People in the chat says, Jesus, that can't be real.
Just be the kind of guy that opens a bag of chips in the grocery store.
Yes. All right. And we do have cute of the day. Cute of the day is how you balance out the awfulness of cringe of the day. Mary sent me this one earlier.
this one.
Oh, I'm going to mute it because I don't know if that's going to be copyrighted music.
Ah.
But it is adorable.
This cat is a vanilla ice cream scoop. He loves it.
he's living his best life.
Oh, it's adorable.
His eyes are shut so tightly you can never even see him.
All right.
See, this gives us an unrealistic view of how clean a cat could be, because
Yeah.
I've owned multiple cats and their eyes have never been that non-goopy. So yeah, this is worse than any Barbie doll setting beauty standards.
And then I also have some from viewers. So the first here is from, we have this one from
That was from
yesterday. That was from yesterday, yes. And that one,
And little
we've got this
marshmallow
one.
dog.
Okay, Molly and Maggie, aka the best girls. Now, funnily enough, everyone who sends me pictures of their pets for PCC Pets says they are the best girl or the bestest boy. You know, people are partial to their pets.
Doggos. And
Doggos.
other language like that.
There we go. I don't know if that's Molly or Maggie, but that's one of them. That's very
Sweet.
regal. It's a very
Yeah.
regal pose right there. I like it. All right. And we've also got Josette and Luna.
Oh my gosh. No offense, but they look so dumb. I love it.
What?
They look so dumb.
That's
Yeah,
very
what
no,
was the-
no thoughts behind those eyes.
That's very mean.
What was the name
No,
of the first
it's not.
one?
It's just true.
Josette, Josettete.
That's too fancy of a name for a dog that looks like that.
Think
Luna,
so?
that makes sense. That's
I like it.
Smudge and Luna. I'll
I
buy
like
that.
when dogs look really dumb.
It says, yes, they're twins. Both of them born January 14th, 2022.
Can you really be twins if you're a dog in a litter?
I have
guess
no
they're
idea. Apparently,
all
I think they're adorable, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the name Josette. It's fine.
I don't think that there's something wrong with it.
And I got one more here. This is from
What?
Yes.
No, not real.
People wanted more than just dogs and cats, and we had a
Send
ferret.
in more exotic
Says
pets.
to bring some diversity to PCC Pets. This dapper gent is Ricky Rakin in homage of the Trailer Park Boys. Fantastic.
You can domesticate raccoons.
He was found alone around 4 weeks old and now thinks he's the Ubermensch of all doggos because thumbs. That's amazing.
Bruh. Love the opposable thumbs.
And-
oh,
wow.
that's so cute. What the heck?
Isn't that adorable?
But I think a raccoon is just too wild.
Think so? I like it.
I don't know if you can really tame them.
Well, I mean, that looks pretty tame.
He's a cutie.
Looks tame to me. All right, let's get started, shall we? On the full stuff.
Yeah,
You ready?
yeah.
You ready to do this,
I think
Mary?
we're ready.
All right, let's make fun of Hollywood. That's what we do best here.
That's what we live for.
Yes. Adam Brody, Piper Perabo, and more call for less gun violence on screen at the White House roundtable. Hollywood has been due for a reckoning. Well, if Alec Baldwin doesn't do it, then I guess these people are going to do it, right? The worst part about this is these people don't understand what they're talking about because they've never owned a firearm. They've most likely never shot a firearm outside of unless they've done a scene for it for work. And they never actually have any respect for how dangerous they are other than to just say that they should be banned.
It really
all the
pained
time.
you that Piper Perabo was involved in this campaign.
I love Coyote Ugly, the masterpiece that is Coyote Ugly in the show Covert
Affairs, yeah.
Yes, she's fantastic. And it says basically first of all, have you ever noticed that ever since Joe Biden's been in office, like celebrities are just going in and out of the White House, like they got like
It's
some
Joe
type
Biden
of,
office hours.
Yeah.
Anyone
Yeah.
can go in.
just go in whenever you want.
But he's not there. He's on vacation again. So
Yeah.
They had
see-
Ted Lasso
Yeah.
in there
yeah, very bizarre.
to
'Cause-
talk about what was it again?
Um,
I don't even
mental
remember.
health. It was Mental Health Awareness Month.
and they were getting heckled the
Yeah.
entire time, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we reacted to the video on here.
Yeah, like
Cringe.
but
It's cringe.
the problem is because they understand the power that these celebrities have over social messaging, right?
Is
So-
anyone gonna vote for Biden's second term because Ted Lasso was at the White House?
Probably.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably. Yeah.
Genuinely?
Yeah. Honestly, there are probably people like that. Sadly.
No, the same
Dude,
thing. Yeah.
end universal suffrage.
Oh, geez.
She said it, not me. So it says, while depictions of gun violence in the entertainment industry are nothing new, there is a cultural shift taking place as filmmakers consider how their films and shows depict gun violence. This bummed me out because it was from Matt Nix, who made Burn Notice, which is like my favorite show of all time, which is nothing but gun violence and explosions.
They also had J.J. Abrams.
Yes, again,
here.
explosions. So it says, I've written a lot of stories over the years that involve firearms, and I've already changed how I portray gun safety in the home since signing Brady's pledge last year. Paraboo discussed gun safety in homes and how the entertainment community says can also make a cultural shift to talk and normalize storage. I don't think they understand that if the scenes that they're showing in movies and television shows aren't about storage.
Yeah.
That's about the violence part, not the storage part, which makes no sense. And they also have this weird conflation where they're saying, look, it's not our fault that gun violence is a thing, but we can help solve the problem.
So there needs to be a scene in John Wick now where he like gets a knock on the door and goes to his gun safe, does his combination,
Yeah, exactly.
loads it correctly. Like, is that what needs to be?
Yeah.
Right. So I did wade into the open letter that they had on the Brady campaign. It says here, something needs to be done. Guns are prominently featured in TV and movies in every corner of the globe, but only America has a gun violence epidemic. The responsibility lies with lax gun laws supported by politicians afraid of losing power. We didn't cause the problem, but we want to help fix it.
How does that work? How do you not cause the problem but fix it?
Here's what I was saying earlier. I think that these people have a huge level of cognitive dissonance if they think that they didn't cause the problem, but they have the power to fix it. Here's why. Does the media we consume influence our behavior? Point blank, does it? And if the answer is yes, then they did, in fact, contribute to the problem. So if you didn't contribute to the problem, you don't have the power to have the solution to the problem.
If you've helped society by showing diversity on screen, then you have to also accept the idea that by showing gun
That you hurt
violence on
society
screen, you
by
have hurt
showing gun
that you've-
violence.
That's if you believe that.
That would require them to take personal responsibility, and they will never do that.
No, they will not.
I
Also,
mean,
if you
Hollywood
remember,
could start with like promoting gun safety by actually convicting a person who killed someone with a gun on set.
yeah.
But
No.
that's not possible. So, and he's also not blacklisted.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this.
Did you follow
initiative is
the Alec
about.
Baldwin thing at all?
A bit.
A bit?
Yeah, but it's like you see with this story over here, you see a whole lot of them signing petitions and making public statements, but not a lot of them visiting Southside Chicago and reaching out to the youth of all the kids in the schools. So,
Well, they say 250 mass shootings, but what they're not talking about is the fact that there's a lot of gang violence and stuff like that, because they live in gated communities and they don't actually understand what it's like to live with us, with the regular people.
yeah,
right?
with the peasants, they just had their publicist put something on their desk and they sign and they say, "I'm helping."
Another thing that which is funny is because they don't understand it is like if they had ever actually interacted with somebody who cared about firearms, they would understand how much an actual gun owner treats the firearm as something that's dangerous and is very powerful. They understand you always treat a gun as if it's always loaded. Like they understand the average gun owner. If you watch a YouTube video from someone, they just had T-Rex arms on IRL last night. They understand that safety is of the utmost importance with this. They don't treat anything with safety. The first thing they could do is start showing halfway decent trigger discipline anytime they put somebody on screen with a gun, or actually show them as if they actually know how to carry a firearm, but they don't do that.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
They have a weird behaviorist philosophy about people where they think all wrongdoing is a result of ignorance or poor education, when in fact, what they need to accept about human nature is that people do wrong things out of a choice
to
do the wrong thing, knowing that it's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Like gun violence. Has anyone seen gun violence on screen and then said, I'm going to go do a gun violence now? Like, I don't understand what paradigm these people are operating on. Like,
it makes no sense.
What planet are you living on that you think... I mean, I certainly think media affects our behavior.
Yeah.
But if you want to say that about guns in a positive way, not a negative way, it has to be all or nothing. Does the way you portray sex on screen influence the way that people have sex?
Yep.
I would say it does, but they would deny that because it... Thank you. But it would require them to take accountability for what they're putting on screen.
Yep.
But then they're never going to do that. Oh, do we have a $20 one?
Yep.
Daniel J. Corica said, it's lax enforcement of laws, not lax gun laws. Need a background check to purchase a firearm, period. We need firearms safety classes in schools.
That will never come back. They will never put firearm safety back in schools, unfortunately. That's never going to be something that happens. Also, they also have this weird thing where they don't like when there are positive examples of it. I've seen more than a few examples of fathers and mothers teaching their kids how to use firearms, and they get upset because they think that that's somehow dangerous
Every
to
time
teach your kid how to
they
properly
post the video
use
and
a
say,
firearm.
this is grooming.
Yes.
And they're never going to get rid of it out of their movies. Look, there was 2 bills that were proposed in California after the Baldwin shooting that were designed to make the gun laws more strict around on-set use, and both bills failed. Of course, because they understand that they can virtue signal all they want. When it comes down to it, they're going to take their money and the story first. They're not going to actually do anything about it other than sign these useless bills and make no actual progress. But, it's like they think people don't watch a movie or TV show and make value judgments about the people on it, the characters in it. Bad people on a movie do bad things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when they're irresponsible with guns or use guns to kill innocent people, that's obviously, people make a value judgment when they watch that and say that's bad. I don't want to model that behavior.
They also mention things in the past that Hollywood has done to curb, which is like not showing smoking on screen as much. But what they don't understand is before that, you did show lots of smoking on screen. So you have to either accept that you were part of the problem before and then work to fix it, or accept that your second choice had no impact.
I mean, in all other situations, think about the way they talk about the way Disney princesses made young girls feel degraded and dehumanized for decades before. You contributed to the problem of sexism, but you also have the solution to fix it now that you're remaking all of the movies.
Yeah. I also think
where is the consistency?
I also think it's delusional to think that an irresponsible firearms owner is being irresponsible because they saw it in a movie. Like they talk about 4.6 million people at home live at home with unsecured firearms. I'm like, and you think they're doing that because they watched it in a movie? Like, that's the height of narcissism to me in a lot of ways.
They said they want to limit scenes including children and guns, bearing in mind guns are now the leading cause of death for children and adolescents.
They count 18-year-olds as kids in that study.
Another point here, have at least one conversation during pre-production regarding the way guns will be portrayed on screen and consider alternatives that could be employed without sacrificing narrative integrity. Impossible. And use creativity to model responsible gun ownership and show consequences for reckless gun use. We will make a conscious effort to show characters locking their guns safely and making them inaccessible to children. So you're literally going to have one character, like an adult, putting a gun into a safe, or unloading it, putting it into a safe, and a toddler on the ground being like, give it to me, mommy, give me the gun. And you're like, no, this is for adults. Like, it's the same ham-fisted way that, like, as I was saying earlier, Brett, like, they show a random character has gay parents and they think some homophobe is watching it on their screen and they're like, huh, I like that character and they have gay parents. I don't hate gay people anymore. Thanks, Hollywood.
Well, they're talking about the 4.6 million kids that had lost their lives or living in the homes with unsecured firearms. So they're really going to show some gangsters movie where like they're out there doing a drive-by shootout in like the downtown part of town, and like, okay, kids, remember, everybody make sure to get your guns and unload in the gun safes afterwards. Like, it makes no sense that they're actually going to implement any of this. It's just, hey, we're going to say we're going to do this, but I mean, it's never going to show up anywhere realistic.
No, it's virtue signaling, which is what Hollywood does best, which is offer surface level platitudes on problems that are much, much deeper and more complicated to work on than something like this. It's also funny too because in the end, it's just not the story that anyone's going to actually watch. Like that scene you just described isn't something somebody's going to actually watch. Yeah. They're going to go watch John Wick. They're going to go watch Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible.
Or a heist movie.
Or a heist movie.
Exciting like that. It's exciting because it doesn't happen in real life.
Exactly. That's not the way the actual world works. And it does bother me because a lot of the celebrity, like I didn't recognize a lot of the names on here, which makes me think that a lot of it is
Amy
just...
Schumer was on it. Also Jimmy Kimmel.
Do you think Jimmy Kimmel shoots guns? I don't think
know if
Jimmy
he's ever
Kimmel
shot a gun
in his entire life.
But I do wonder how many people in Hollywood are secret gun owners.
I'm sure.
Secret.
Well, I mean,
right in their home, yeah.
Oh, or they've got private security.
They hire people with guns to protect them. So
yeah, just like our politicians,
hypocrites.
Yeah.
I just hate the reiteration of we didn't cause the problem, but we want to help fix it. We didn't start the fire.
Yeah. And you're from California, which has some of the strictest gun laws in the entire.
Yeah, which is crazy because you have Los Angeles County, which is like super strict right there, but then you drive 20 minutes away over to like Riverside County, Orange County, and it's just an entirely different scenario.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then where's all the crime happening with guns though? Los Angeles County.
Oh, it's also funny too because for California, like I still remember they were like because these celebrities they're just cut off from normal people, right?
Yeah.
When they had it wasn't the Oscars, but I don't remember what was the last award show. They put up these like massive walls in front of the building so that normal people couldn't get in.
Oh yeah,
and see in.
Over at like Union Station where all the homeless people live, they're gonna have some award ceremony over there. So they went in there and just said, "Oh, you guys have 24 hours to vacate." There's all these laws on how you can't move them because we don't have homes or beds in homeless shelters for them to stay, but for the rich people, all those rules go out the window.
Then they will just do whatever they need to do to keep the rich people happy because they drive the economy there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they have the staff that work those award shows wearing masks while they're free to walk around without them.
I wonder if that's still going on. Do you think that's still going on?
I think so.
In 2023, like it's.
I mean, it's relaxing now.
Yeah. Like, did you have to wear? Were they like strict about the masks out there in California? Like super strict.
It was the craziest thing because in LA County, everybody's masked up and everybody's afraid and kind of depressed because everybody's indoors all the time. Yeah. I drive like 20 minutes to Riverside County and see my nephew's Little League game, and it's like it wasn't even happening. Everything was like normal. Different world, but it's not. You could see it like with your own eyes. You don't need
Yeah.
Kind of depends where you get your information. The people the people at the Little League game were getting different information than the people who are scared crapless in LA County.
Yeah, it's sad, but that's how it is.
And for these celebrities, I think a lot of them, to me, like the Piper Perry one, that just feels a lot of times to me as like pulling the ladder up behind you. Like they're just going to make it harder for the rest of the people. If there was to be any type of change in the industry, imagine having to like you don't get the cool role now where you fire a gun. Now you have to be some type of weird PSA infomercial where everything's infotainment and nothing can actually be fun anymore.
Sorry, reckless gun use is cool. It should be on screen. No, I'm no. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but and maybe it's not a good thing that we have so much violence on screen. Maybe it's not.
No, this is just the carbon offset of gun control, of saying I'm still going to have all my guns, I'm going to have all my armed guards, but I said the right things and I did. I spent some money in the right places, so everybody for themselves downtown in LA.
I just think if you're going to claim that you have the power to have a positive impact on society and the behavior of your viewership, then also claim the responsibility that you can have a negative impact, and not just in one area, but all areas of human behavior, that they portray all social interaction and academia and racial tensions too, even, or sexuality, or all of these different issues. They do believe that they have an impact in all of these different areas. So take responsibility when it's negative.
Yep. And they won't, because they want to be thought leaders, but with none of the risks. So.
All right, let's go to Superchats.
All right, we got some there.
Superpowers said, "Don't take Down syndrome Barbie to a Scandinavian hospital."
Ooh.
True. There was like, I think Lydia tweeted about this, that Iceland reported that they have basically eradicated Down syndrome in their country, which essentially means we just killed them all. Like,
Yeah.
it's totally. We're gonna get into that later, but it's totally disgusting. Nero Garcia said, AMLO, the Mexican president, has become the 6th most watched Spanish-speaking streamer in the world.
Oh, wow.
This seemed like culture politics figured I'd share.
That is somewhere in the middle there. That now you get to have your career outside of politics. And Barack Obama has his production company and just did like a Netflix documentary on American manufacturing after like helping destroy American manufacturing. Like
Meghan Markle just got represented by WME, and Archwell Studios is now, I guess, swallowed up into that conglomerate. Ryan Kennell said, "Happy Friday, babes. Hail Decoy voice."
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Mudcast IRL said, 2 more episodes of Fired on Mars were released on HBO last night. Really fun cartoon you should review. Not woke, not filthy, and classic Luke Wilson.
Oh, well, hard to find a middle ground between not woke and not filthy these days.
Well, it's usually both to the extreme.
Yep. One more and then we'll move on.
Okay, Vanguard N7 said, "I've had my pets feature in the pets segment, but my dad has lots of reptiles, including 20 freshly hatched chameleons. Want me to tag on Twitter?"
Yes.
Freshly hatched.
Hashtag PCC Pets, please do.
Any dinosaurs? Does
That'd be
anyone
cool.
have any dinosaurs or dragons?
That'd be cool.
I'd like to see them.
All right, guys, we are going to move on. This story is downright creepy and depressing, and I'm not kidding at all. So Katie Price has been a famous glamour model in the UK for a very long time. She has an 8-year-old daughter who admits that OnlyFans are what she wants to do in the future. She wants to do OnlyFans like her mom.
Yeah, this says she was doing an Instagram Q&A on her story recently, and her 8-year-old daughter, who is named Bunny, was asked, she asked her daughter, "What are you famous for?" Bunny said, "You." So I guess she's self-aware enough to know that. And then Katie Price asked her, "What do you want to do when you're older?" And she replied, "I want to be like you and do OnlyFans, a photo shoot." Leaving her mom stunned.
Do you think it was
Speechless.
Do you think it was stunned and speechless in a good way, or stunned and speechless in a holy crap, what have I done?
I mean, I would hope in a bad way, in a horrified way. I have
She's
no
like, you don't want to
idea.
be an astronaut or a doctor or a surgeon.
And she's actually been supposedly mom shamed in the past because she's put Bunny in like adult makeup and false eyelashes and stuff like that, put her on Instagram looking like that. The girl also tried to set up a YouTube channel and has that now, which is against TOS. She was banned on TikTok because you're not supposed to have a TikTok if you're under 13.
Yep.
And she has another daughter named Princess, who is older. She's like 15 and has been called her mini me, and they look alike, and she's kind of adopted that same look, that like Instagram face look.
Yeah.
That everyone has to look the same and you're like part of the Borg.
Yep.
But it's like, I don't know if a mom who does OnlyFans wants her daughter to be a mini me.
My only hope is that they're kids, so they don't know what content's on OnlyFans. So maybe they just think, oh, it's just like Instagram. I want to be famous for the sake of being famous and make a lot of money.
Out of it.
But they just don't even know what it is. So like, oh yeah, I want to be a TikTok star. Like that's the same thing in their head.
Then it becomes a question: is like, how much has she actually shielded her kids from what she's doing?
Yeah.
And that girl should not even know what the word OnlyFans is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I also think we were talking about this in reference to Ice Cube's wife. What was her name?
Coco
Chanel?
No. I forget her.
She
last
like
name,
named her daughter Chanel, so
Yeah.
it's like Coco and Chanel.
Yeah.
She has
Austin,
an OnlyFans
Coco Austin.
too. Yeah, Coco Austin. She has an OnlyFans too, which she promotes on Instagram, same way Katie Price does. and they post family pictures on the same account that she's posting all the lingerie photos and the foot fetish stuff and all that. So I just don't think that you should be using the same account on Instagram that you use to market your OnlyFans content, your sexual content, for family photos and photos of your kid, because the audience is a bunch of fetishists.
Yeah.
And freaks and dangerous people.
I mean, it's also a sign of the times, because in the past you just wouldn't come into contact with a bunch of people you didn't know on a personal level.
Yeah.
Like the people you knew would be the people you knew, meaning the people you grew up with, the people you had made friends with along the way, everyone in your hometown. And now you're connected to all these people that have nothing to do with that. And most of these people are pushing businesses. You know, that's whether she likes it or not, it's her business, but she's mixing her business and her private life. And the outcome is going to be kids like this who are unfortunately taking some crazy lessons.
Yeah.
I don't know about like lessons as so much as like you're just growing up in a culture where this is normalized, and it's like the air that you breathe. It's something that you don't even think critically about.
Yeah.
And I think, like, regardless of whether you shield your kid from the fact that you make this type of content as they're growing up, they're going to find out eventually, and the consequences.
That's still better than this. Like, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying it's still better than
somewhat.
Like,
what about when her schoolmates find out? I talked about this on whatever, and it went viral for a reason, because it's like, the OnlyFans mindset is all about thinking about temporary reward for stuff that is going to haunt you for decades.
And the problem of a culture that lives too much in the moment and doesn't think far enough ahead to what their life is actually going to be like 10 years down the line.
Imagine like facing professional or social consequences for like your grandmother having OnlyFans content.
Well, but you see this like with videos of people making viral videos in these grocery stores where they're making the type of content that they're not actually thinking about what's going to mean for them down the line if something happens to them when they're doing this stuff.
Yeah, it's all just about the views. No matter what, if I'm Insta famous, I'm relevant online. Doesn't matter if it's all hate. I'm still famous online, and that's actually they can start like a OnlyFans or a rap career or whatever it may be.
For men and women, it's different, but it's still it's a symptom of people not thinking far enough ahead about what their life is going to look like 10 years, 20 years down the line. Well, they're addicted to the views now. Well,
I kind of argue that like having an OnlyFans and having a cruelty-based prank channel is the same thing as with the guy or the girl. It's going to haunt them later on. Yeah. And if they decide, I don't want to be a prankster anymore, or I don't want to be an OnlyFans model anymore, that's it. It's already out there. It's always going to find you. And now you see that, I think it's called PIM or something. Yeah. Very scary. If you just put in any picture of you, it'll go out there and find stuff. Like I tried to get a picture of me from my live stream. And I was like, okay, it found a lot of pictures from me on YouTube, but it also found me in wedding albums from friends that are uploaded to different websites that I've never seen before. And I'm like, this is an issue.
That's crazy.
It's a website?
It's a website, and it's all behind like a paywall. It gives you have to pay to... But the thing is, though, is it shows you all the places it found you, and I'm like, here's a picture of me.
Background check.
Yeah, without facial hair, several years ago, in a very different setting in a background, but it just with my eyebrows and my eyes. It was like, oh yeah, you've been to all these different places, and I'm like, so even if you had some weird name as your YouTube channel prank thing or your OnlyFans thing, when you go on LinkedIn, they're gonna find you. They're gonna find it.
Did you see that video where those girls were photobombing the Instagram influencer or like the TikToker girl at the baseball game, where like they're in the background like giving her the middle finger and stuff?
No, I haven't seen that.
That like went viral recently. We talked about it. They found the girl who was in the background of the video just from her face. There was no identifying information. Then they found all of her social media, her professional profiles, called her job, found her address, like everything.
One of them
in less than 24 hours.
One of them ended up apologizing because they just wanted to.
Yeah, and they ended up making an apology video, which is bullshit. But I guess it's something you have to do to surrender to the mob.
Yep, you're not allowed to just go out and be a person anymore. You have to apologize every time something like this happens.
It's funny you say like a cruelty-based online presence. Sometimes people use. We were talking about this TikToker who, basically stole a meal from a homeless person right in front of him.
Yeah.
And just does videos like that constantly and doesn't even have that many followers off of doing it. It's just hate.
Yeah.
It's either that these days or a public presence that's totally based on humiliating yourself. Like, either you're humiliating other people or you're humiliating yourself somehow, and that's the draw. Like, I saw this girl with an OnlyFans who went to a McDonald's and got up on the counter with like very little clothing on for a video to go viral just so people would sub to her OnlyFans. Like, it's insane what people will sacrifice.
Well, people are willing to humiliate themselves for fame now.
Because it's so profitable.
Yeah.
Like, who
and
would want
also,
to?
how is that not like sexual harassment against everybody there?
The people watch it. The guy's like, dude, I'm just trying to eat my McChicken.
Like, if a man were doing that, he
Yeah.
would be arrested.
to be fair, the guy
Literally.
would be arrested. It's terrifying to me because it becomes a problem to me because society seems to encourage this. I definitely see a slant in how these stories are covered, meaning that when I read articles about these things, it's always about how much money can be made on these platforms, not realizing that the majority of them do not make that much money. The average OnlyFans girl is a much closer comparison to a SoundCloud rapper than she is to someone that's making a ton of money, right? So they're being bombarded with all of this propaganda saying like, look how much money you can make. It doesn't matter if you have morals or standards for yourself. Look how well off you can be if you do this.
Brett, I just sent you a link to the post I was talking about where she put all that makeup on the 8-year-old.
The
really
Instagram
disturbing.
one?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me put it up here.
And this got like a ton of people praising her for it in the comments. Like, that's so disturbing.
Ugh. That's how long ago is that? 11 weeks ago.
Not long ago. And someone commented, before everyone cries about it being makeup for a few hours, every little girl I know loves playing with makeup and having fun. This is different than letting a girl play with makeup.
Well, yeah, because you're posting the picture
doing
for
it,
everyone to see.
Yeah.
You're doing it professionally on her the way that an adult would. It's like not exactly the same thing, is it?
I'm actually with Toy News Daily in the chat who says I hate seeing thoughts on IG wearing bikinis and Darth Vader Mando helmets thirsting my fellow nerds. Yeah, it's definitely like
That's a thing.
That's a thing. Yeah, and it's definitely like, hello there, fellow nerds. I am your fantasy. I am here to take your money. Please click the link in bio.
If you fall for it,
That's capitalism, baby.
that's, I guess, open season on you.
That is capitalism, baby.
It's sad, but yeah. And Katie Price, I don't think looks like a person anymore.
No, she doesn't.
I looked at old pictures from her modeling career and stuff, and she looked very pretty and natural and normal. Like, she's a natural beauty and never needed to change anything. But she looks like her face is just overloaded with fillers.
Yeah.
The lip injections are crazy. And I said she has like the lip injection mustache.
Yeah.
Where the filler like migrates and it causes this shadow to form over the top lip like you have a mustache. Like, you don't look like a person anymore.
Do you think this is just going to keep getting worse as we keep trying to find surgical solutions to like our own emotional problems?
I honestly think that with the popularity of, to not go in on anybody, with the popularity like Dylan Mulvaney, where they're all going for this very augmented look, the more we're going to go back to just like, oh, maybe just natural looking, low makeup, but then not looking for that perfection Instagram filter look will become the more attractive thing because it's the more authentic thing. Because like anybody can get to look like Katie Price right here with enough lip injections.
If you've got the money, you can do it, right? Like,
yeah.
It's the hope would be like we get back to a point in society where we value authenticity and the look of somebody. You know, but then girls who do that get called pick-me's or get told like that they're cliches. For things like that as well. So it's like everything's stereotyped. Even the term trad has become stereotyped in a way where trad has become a business model for people who are...
Where literal OnlyFans girls will have a trad shtick.
Yes, where
point.
it's like...
does any word mean anything?
Wearing a sundress doesn't mean that, like, you know, wearing a floral pattern dress that goes down to your knees doesn't make you trad. It just makes you a person wearing a dress. You're still running a business on your computer. That's not really
the girl
the same
that like
thing.
LARPs as Marilyn Monroe on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm not fond of that type of content at all.
What do you so do you think for guys the analog here is like shock content videos, because guys can't profit in the same way from something like OnlyFans? I remember somebody made this really funny observation to me once. They said for like women have stripping, men have pizza delivery. Like men can make more money from pizza delivery like than a lot of regular jobs. Do you think that in this industry, like if women have OnlyFans, men have to kind of go and do shock content video?
It's just whatever you can't find in your day-to-day life. Oh, super hot girl that's into Star Wars, and you provide that online, then you get all the clicks and the views. Same thing with just people being just ratchetly insane in person. It's like, yeah, if you saw that at your local Starbucks, somebody dancing on a table and like, throwing everything everywhere, like, wow, that was something of note. And it's like, yeah, they just provide that online. No matter the long-term effects, they just try to be relevant. And like what Joe Rogan said is like, everybody wants to be special, but they don't want to work at it.
Yeah.
And OnlyFans to a lesser extent, but also the prank stuff. They don't gotta do much. They don't gotta learn anything.
I tend to push back on the people, like not in the OnlyFans space, but in the space of like women who get lots of views or likes on social media, and they're like, they didn't do anything. I'm like, that depends on like if they work out a lot and they eat right and they take care of themselves. That's not the same thing as not doing anything. That means that they're putting a lot of time into their appearance. Obviously, once we get into whether they're getting surgical operations, that's different. But if you're just a naturally, like you said, Katie Price used to be naturally beautiful, right? So if you're taking care of yourself physically,
social media that made her ruin her face because she wasn't able to psychologically handle that level of attention.
She's been around for so long. I mean, she started going through that before social media was even as big of a thing as it is now.
Definitely made it worse.
So there was probably a case of body dysmorphia there already.
There's also this horrible story of this Kim Kardashian lookalike OnlyFans model
that we mentioned the other day.
Yeah, like died in the middle of a surgery.
Yep.
That she was having, and again,
cardiac arrest.
Jeez.
Rest in peace. I don't want to like speak down on the dead. That's not like I don't want to do that.
I feel horrible for this.
But
lady.
it's like, once again, this person is not recognizable to who they once were.
Yeah.
The sad part is she needs. I feel like if she met Kim Kardashian in person, she would realize that Kim Kardashian doesn't look like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
In person, she's a vastly different person.
Yeah.
Even Kim Kardashian looked better before all of the interventions.
And she always gets caught with like Photoshop mistakes and stuff.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I don't think that people understand the consequences when they go into these things. And from all of these pictures off of her social profiles, like, I don't think that, once again, this looks like a real person. Like, anyone who sees this and this is their like idea of an ideal woman, like, you've got like porn sick mentality. And that's going to get worse in a society that's increasingly isolated, spending more time on their phones than with actual people and not interacting as much with, the opposite sex. It's going to get worse as these markets get smaller. And granted, the fact that obviously this woman had gotten so many surgeries on her body, that's likely the type of surgery that she was in the middle of getting when she had a cardiac arrest, and that now is dead at 34. It's not worth it. It's clearly not worth it. And like, not to mention living with all of these foreign substances in your body, like getting silicone implants can literally kill you. Your body will start to attack the foreign substance that you've put in it. Yeah. And that's why you need to like replace it in the next 10 years. I said this on a recent episode, but like, it's worth reiterating, if you think that society's gonna be in bad shape in the next 5 to 10 years, is medical care going to be accessible to you, and will your implants kill you at that point? And I think it's fair to say that for both men and women, they have their own, like, both men and women who chase internet fame. Like I said, a lot of the stuff you cover, people chasing internet fame, the men doing it just do it for through a different medium, whether it's the shock content videos or prank videos. I imagine prank videos are a mostly male demographic on YouTube. Yeah. But some of them are not even pranks. Like when we were talking about that YouTuber who got shot at the mall, doing another prank video, all of his videos were titled like, oh, that's a crime. Like stealing someone's groceries.
That's what you've done more than a few of them where it's like they're doing
Not pranks.
something.
I've covered the videos.
You've covered more than a few of them
yeah.
where it's like he's just committing crimes. It's like
Yeah.
psych. I was just kidding. It's like that's not really how this works.
Yeah, it's all for the clout though, because you can monetize views no matter how terrible it is, and then once you've done it one way to get clicks again, you have to outdo yourself, and they've just
carjacking prank.
Yeah,
What was the most egregious of the ones you've covered?
Probably the guy that was going to the airports to say like, oh, we're doing a prank where we're gonna pretend that that's our luggage and steal the luggage, but then he brought a rapper with him, an aspiring gangster rapper, and then he started pulling out a blade to do it, and it's like, what you guys premeditated saying we're gonna go to the airport where we know people aren't armed and say we're gonna steal their luggage and also use a knife.
Ooh,
Oh.
we just had the lights flicker. Stream okay, guys?
We might have lost it here.
Uh-oh.
Did we double check?
I'm looking at it right now.
Guys,
Seems like it's okay.
the rain has been pretty brutal today, so I'm not. We got
Whoa.
Oh.
stream. That wouldn't be good. Guys,
They say you're still with
Okay.
us.
It's still gotten it's still green, the bar by
keep
OBS.
going. I'm gonna double check and make sure. Holy Verse in the chat says crimes aren't pranks. Yes, but these people would have you believe that they are pranks because it's a way to get views.
Stream's good, still here. Haunted
Okay.
Studio.
Haunted.
You know,
yeah.
somehow, once again, this is Shane Cashman's fault. He has, what's wrong?
No, keep going.
He's
I'm
issued
gonna.
a curse on the studio.
Keep
Another
going.
person said, why do social media people always talk about social media being bad all the time? Does your career choice not add to the problem? Thoughts on that, Decoy voice?
What do you mean? Like,
Are you, or is Pop Culture Crisis contributing to the problems that we're talking about today?
no, because it just calls them out for their nonsense that they're doing. It's not saying like, oh, look at this thing, look how well this is. Like, look at this thing. We're going to show the long-term effects of it, other channels that are failing at it as well, and how this is going to result in prison time for them. Because other guy actually got murder charges later on because they were able to identify him from that video he uploaded.
Oh.
So it's like, it's not saying this is a good thing. Here, it would be different if I did a compilation of the greatest pranks I saw on
Yeah.
YouTube. It's just
Top
showing
10 crime prank videos. And there are people that make that type
Top
of
10
content.
bank robbery pranks.
and
Yeah,
that's
like literally that.
But that's what happened over in Texas, where they came in there with like an object wrapped in a plastic bag, and he goes in there saying, "Oh, this is a stick up," and then
Dude.
they're like, "Oh, it's a prank, and they left. The sad part is, I think it happened in Austin, Texas, and they never found the guys. It's on a video, it's on a YouTube account
Dude,
that has to be connected to them, but apparently they're just not looking for him.
And now, like, because police aren't always allowed to enforce the law, people are less afraid of the consequences of doing shit like that.
Oh, 100%. They know that there's like no police pursuit laws in some of these very hyper left cities, so it's like they know they can get away with it as long as they're in their vehicle and they're speeding. So it's almost like no risk to them, and which is sad.
Yeah. And then what you have to rely on is, I guess, the court of public opinion on social media, which sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, as you said.
And that's the thing, is when you have someone that's like a rapper that wants to be like a drill rapper, I'm such a criminal, I'm a gangster, the worse thing he does, the better off he is for his rap career, because if he goes to jail for a brief period of time, he can come out and say,
Helps his clout.
oh, look
It's
at
like
all these
free
bad things
so-and-so.
Exactly.
There was one recently
Yeah.
that I just was reading in the news about one that was like stabbed in the showers in prison. Just-
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I missed this one $20 chat from Perturbed Alpaca, money gun check.
I think it worked.
I think the money guns are
Yeah, I
all
saw
right.
That one I think went off.
And the stream's all right?
yeah, I think that
Everything's
one went
good?
off right when the lights flickered, so that might have been why missed
Maybe.
the $20 one. But yeah, I had Andrew double check. I think the breakers are good, so
Okay.
hopefully we're good.
Let's go to the super chats.
We got some super chats
for a
there.
sec. James Orenthal Wen said, Decoy reminds me of DJ Theo from 92.3 The Beat.
Oh my God! So when I used to work at a fast food restaurant, I would do like the drive up orders. When they'd come up and they'd see an Asian guy and the face wouldn't match the voice, like, oh yeah, you're like this guy Theo from whatever. So I've been getting that comment for like over a decade now.
What?
So shout out to that person. That's something I haven't heard in a very long time, but yes, I've heard about that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so funny. What? Okay. Johnny Beck sent us a thumbs up. Thank you. Marco sent $1 without a message.
And so did Johnny Beck.
Yes, again.
And yes,
Thanks,
and Johnny
guys.
Beck again.
Lars and Rune said, because I saw Decoy, I'm feeling generous.
Ah, there you go. Let's read one more and then we'll move on.
Disco Jensen said, people willing to debase themselves for notoriety is the real virus that infected the West.
And also in the chat, High Voltage 75 says, Brett, did you remember to turn back up the Crisis Party sound? Well, yesterday I didn't forget. I turned it down because people were complaining and I was being passive aggressive. So yes.
What was the passive aggressive nickname Callan gave you?
I don't.
Brett Pacific.
Yes, Brett Pacific. I do want to point out that today's Crisis Party sound effect is quite jarring. Like I said, I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it, but everybody in this room will get to hear Christian Bale yell at people on set.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Wait, did we already get to it then? Maybe that was a flickering.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
We
I
will
hope
get
the
there.
power didn't affect that.
No, it should be fine. All right, we're going to move on, guys. So, Dylan Mulvaney has finally spoken out.
Yeah, so Dylan Mulvaney was on a social media hiatus for the last 3 weeks or so during the whole Bud Light controversy, which has been rehashed to death, and we've stayed away from it intentionally because of that. Like, what else is there to say? Woke company did a woke company thing.
Yes.
Thank you. But now there's something to talk about because Dylan Mulvaney has basically come back to spin the narrative.
Yep.
And it's one of victimhood. So how about we just watch the video first?
Which
from
one?
His TikTok.
Are we watching this one, or are we watching? Hold on, I'm gonna put it on screen. Are we watching this one? Or are we watching this one first? All right, here we go.
And I'm gonna try to leave gender out of this since that's how we found ourselves here. I've been offline for a few weeks, and a lot has been said about me. Some of which is so far from my truth that I was like hearing my name and I didn't even know who they were talking about sometimes. It's a very disassociative feeling. And it was so loud that I didn't even feel part of the conversation. So I decided to take the back seat and just let them tucker themselves out.
Get it?
But
Tucker
then I
themselves
remembered
out.
that nearly 13 million people at some point enjoyed me enough to hit the follow button on these apps. And I was like, wait. I want to talk to those people. So hi. Long time no talk. How are you? You might want to grab a beverage. This is going to be a longer one.
This is such contrived authenticity.
I'm
We've got
doing
a $20 one. Can you pause it real
Yep.
quick? High Voltage 75 said, "Party time, PARTY, because I gotta."
It's a quote from The Mask, which was one of our Crisis Party sound effects at one point.
Continue.
Okay.
And I'm trying this new thing where I don't pressure myself to share anything before I'm ready. And I'm actually sitting with my emotions, not reacting, waiting to respond.
My
and shockingly,
truth.
I can't recommend it more.
Oh, we've got another one from Tony Guevara.
There you go.
Thank you.
Therapy is paying off here, people.
There's a weird obsession in this country with therapy.
And my truth.
In my truth. Which there is no my truth. That's not a thing.
Everyone's going to therapy because they don't have enough friends.
But I do have some...
Well, yeah, you're paying somebody to listen to your problems.
Yeah.
Back in the day, your family would help you with that, or your significant other.
thoughts to share with you. So I've been having crazy deja vu because I'm an adult, I'm 26, and throughout childhood, I was called too feminine and over the top. And here I am now being called all those same things, but this time it's from other adults. And if they're going to accuse me of anything, it should be that I'm a theater person and that I'm camp, but this is just my personality, and it always has been. What I'm struggling with most is that I grew up in a conservative family, and I'm extremely privileged because they still love me very much. And I grew up in the church, and I still have my faith, which I am really trying to hold on to right now. But I've always tried to love everyone, even the people that make it really, really hard. And I think it's okay to be frustrated with someone or confused. But what I'm struggling to understand is the need to dehumanize and to be cruel. I don't think that's right. Dehumanization has never fixed anything in history ever. And, I'm embarrassed to even tell you this, but I was nervous that you were going to start believing those things that they were saying about me. Since
there's something interesting to be said here, because the sad fact of the matter is that the people that like you are still going to like you, and the people that don't like you, it's just going to reaffirm what they already believe. I think one of the things the internet has done is made it very hard for people to actually come to a consensus different than the opposite sides of the aisle they already live on, meaning that very rarely is an argument persuasive in a way that actually changes the mind of another person that doesn't agree with them. You're usually just you're either shouting into the void or you're preaching to the choir, which is people that already agree
I mean,
with
the
you.
problem here is accusing everyone else of dehumanizing you when what you're being called out for is embodying a caricature that is dehumanizing to an entire group of people, which is women.
I mean, when I watch this, what springs to my mind is that it's an actor.
I guess. I mean, this is very contrived authenticity because you can see this is behind a ring light.
Christ.
Thank you.
My God.
That was Phil, the first part.
Good for you.
Let's not take a fucking minute. Let's go again.
I rewatched this. If you've ever seen this clip, it's from when Christian Bale was in a Terminator movie, and he just blows up at this guy on set, and it makes me laugh because it proves to you how almost unstable they have to be able to have this explosion of emotion, like just yelling at this person for like 10 minutes, and he's like, "Let's go again," and he just stops and goes right back into character.
Yeah, you're able to like control it.
So I wonder if Dylan Mulvaney could do the same thing. Could Dylan Mulvaney yell for 20 minutes and then suddenly just go back to being Dylan Mulvaney?
We'll find out. We'll find out that he has like an Amy Klobuchar level scandal where we find out that he's like emotionally abusing his employees and eating salad with a comb.
I'm from Minnesota, so I
that was the craziest
Klobuchar.
part, that she was eating salad with a comb. What the hell is wrong with you?
I told her this that one day, and you're like, "What?
Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about?"
Insane. Skinwalker. Oh, we've got a big super chat from Trucker and Tourist. Wow. Dylan Mulvaney makes my stomach churn when I look at him and hear his voice. It's unsettling and repulsive, like seeing trypophobia pictures. Google that if you don't know what it is. You're welcome. Love all ya. Keep up the fantastic work. I will not be Googling that. I know what you're talking about, and I hate it.
One of the reasons I wanted to cover Dylan Mulvaney on this podcast, more than just because it's partially cultural. It's not always considered pop culture, but he's an actor. Yeah, an actor, meaning that, and now social media, Joe Biden's bringing in influencers and actors to influence the next generation, which is where the whole point in my eyes, like when this podcast became a thing, was like, this is the most dangerous aspect of it, right? Is like, you don't have to worry necessarily about what AOC does to your kids, because not everybody's going to care about AOC, but way more actors have way more influence and are able to push these ideas on kids.
Oh, it was the worst thing when Joe Biden got elected in office and invited the K-pop boy group BTS because they have all the followers.
Like, you don't know who BTS is.
I love the idea. No, it's funnier if Biden listens to BTS in his free time.
But that's the thing. They don't, like, most of them don't understand English. So he's sitting there talking to him saying, "Oh yeah, you're important to us." It's like, the K-pop boy group has nothing to do with what's happening over in San Francisco right now.
They don't understand English, and neither does Joe Biden.
Yes, he's he's struggling right now, but he's going to run in 2024. So
I want to play the rest of that video because there's a key point.
Okay.
That I wanted to
address. It is so loud. But I'm just going to go ahead and trust that the people who know me and my heart won't listen to that noise. What I'm interested in is getting back to making people laugh and to never stop learning. And going forward, I want to share parts of myself on here that have nothing to do with my identity.
No, you don't. Here's the thing. No, you're not remotely interested in making content that has nothing to do with your identity, because everything you've had so far is about your identity. It's about hormones, and it's about passing, and it's about normalizing the bulge, and it's about, the hiking heels and the dresses and the makeup and the, being Eloise at the plaza. All of it is identity related. So, I think we can all think it's a great thing if you try to an attempt at authenticity online, Dylan. But if you actually do try it, the audience you've courted so far, who is obsessed with your identity more than any conservatives are, they will get bored quickly of your personality. They aren't there for your personality. They are there for your identity. So you will revert back to what you were doing before, is the rage baiting and using it to score brand deals with Nike and all of these other mega corporations.
And what you should be most scared of is that those watching who are not politically inclined or don't understand the nefarious nature of this will fall for somebody who can pull off that type of acting. That, if you're not aware of what's going on, that comes off as 110% sincere.
That is a scheduled post
Yeah.
from a social media manager.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They told you this is the right date algorithmically to come back to TikTok.
And his ability to act and fake it is what should scare you.
Yeah.
To be able to fake authenticity. This is why I had a problem with Dylan Mulvaney and Drew Barrymore sitting on a couch. Like, I was like, there's like lights shining down on them. There's hundreds of people behind them, and they're feigning human interaction in something that should feel like an extremely intimate moment. Yeah. Thank you. Somebody pointed out, why is the first swear word blocked out, but the second one is not?
Oh,
Good for you.
Don't shut me up. Let's not take a fucking minute. Let's go again.
Let's go.
I also have some respect for him because he did all his cussing in his English accent and not his. In his
Go again.
I'm sorry, no, he did it in his American accent, not his English accent. So good for him. But I'm saying, like, it's very easy for people who aren't politically inclined to fall for this stuff because they don't realize what they're watching is acting in the real world. It's just actors. It's just the same premise. It's just being done in mediums that have blurred the lines between reality and fiction.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And now, remember when we talked about Pokimane saying that cyberbullying should be a crime?
Yes.
And that people should go to jail for doing it to her?
Yep.
Similarly, Dylan Mulvaney has now announced that it should be illegal to misgender somebody. And that it's just bad journalism. So let's watch that clip from Twitter. Ollie London posted it.
Like, the articles written about me using he pronouns and calling me a man over and over again. And I feel like that should be illegal. I don't know. That's just bad journalism. Like,
I love that.
The
That's
soft
standard.
tyranny, though.
Yes.
Like, literally thinks that you should be imprisoned for that.
Yep. In the chat, Convincing Reality says, acting in the real world, also more commonly known as lying. That's true, but there's a distinction to be made here because it's not just the real world. It's not really the real world. It's social media, which is not the real world. It's just not through the same lens where there's a distinction between fact and fiction, meaning that when you watch a movie, you know that what you're watching is a script, it's written, it's made, it's released. With social media, there's just as much of a facade behind many of these influencers as there is any script in any movie. Like you said, scheduled posts, bullet points about what needs to be talked about. What I mentioned in an episode recently says the best and most influential social media influencers are the ones who can feign authenticity while in most cases being extremely fake.
Yeah.
Like, they are able to feign it and fake it because the medium allows it to look more real because you clicked on it and you didn't go pay for a movie or you didn't turn it on Netflix. It doesn't make it any more real than any of those. It's just as fake.
I find it incredibly rich that Dylan just expects the media to back him.
Yeah.
When, 99% of the media and corporations have been backing him and paying thousands of dollars to
and
do
then
so.
Also playing the victim at the same time.
And playing the victim at the same time. Good journalism is only when the media supports me unequivocally. Is that it?
That's what it is.
And all the bad journalism is just anyone who doesn't like me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people see it that way now because both sides tend to see it as something that's what they believe, wherever they get their information from, that's accurate, and everything coming from the other side is fake.
Yeah.
And I think both sides are guilty of that.
And this is regardless of identity stuff. Mainstream celebrities do this shit all the time where they expect the media to be on their side.
Which it didn't used to be like that.
It was never like that before in
No.
tabloid culture.
Tabloid culture, the media was seen as the adversary because they were the ones looking to get shots of celebrities in compromising positions. Do you see a lot of that living in California?
Not so much.
That's just different area.
I've been down to the Hollywood area, Beverly Hills area, and it's you'll see them out and about, but it's for the most part, nobody's really trying to get in their faces. They're being polite.
How do locals treat celebrities out there? Is it like that? Do they treat them in a more polite manner?
I've had a couple of them where I've worked at a place that celebrities kind of like they frequent that area, and they've actually been pretty nice. Like a couple of them don't want to be bothered or whatever, but most of them would just sit there and have like regular conversations with you and just treat you like a person. They're pretty like down to earth, I guess.
I mean, I don't even get mad at somebody not wanting to be left alone. Like I get that. Like most of the time, like it's like if someone's going to interrupt them while they're in the middle of doing something, it's like, look, I just don't have the time for this these days. And I think we live in a culture now that's getting dangerously more obsessed with celebrities, and I think there's a lot of celebrity worship, especially on Twitter and on social media, that people have raised these people to be like gods, and
Would
they're
there
not.
be anybody you're like starstruck to meet?
There's been like sports stars. Like I was a big Boston Celtics fan, and I saw like Paul Pierce walking through a mall, and it's like I saw him. I was like, oh, I wanted to say like what's up, but he's there with his kid, so I was like, I'm not gonna be that guy that he's like, yeah, it's my that interaction's gonna be bad if I try to talk to him. So it's like, it is what it is. Like, but I have seen a buddy that wanted to say hi to the rapper The Game, and it went really, really bad. And I was like, yeah, he's not.
How'd it go bad? What happened?
Because he just kind of like punked him. Like he was like, it's like, oh, what's up? I'm a big fan. He was like, yeah, get away from me or whatever. And it's like, okay, but it's like, but you don't like you expect like Keanu Reeves to be nice to you. You expect like Tom Hanks to have a good interaction. The Game made his career as being like a gangster rapper. Like it's not going to go.
It's not part of his brand to be like, oh hi, thanks for your support. Like, you know what you're getting.
Oh, you bought my album. Thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks.
Now that I think about it, I said that there's nobody that I would see that way. I would probably be that way if I met Ken Griffey Jr.
Wait, be what way?
Like we were talking earlier off air about
Sycophant?
being starstruck around celebrities, and I said I said I'm too self-centered to be.
No, that's me around Alex Jones.
For me, it would be Ken Griffey Jr. I would be starstruck around Ken Griffey Jr. because I grew up idolizing him. So that's
around Alex Jones. I'm like, hi there.
We had very different childhoods, man.
Can I get a picture?
And you got your picture.
And I got my picture.
Awesome.
Twice.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Then I want to ask you this. Do you think that this is going to be one of these things that celebrities in the future, like we're going to move away from a culture? Like we said, this whole thing came up because Dylan Mulvaney got like a multi-million-dollar contract with the beer company. I think the future will see less regular celebrities getting these types of brand deals, and it will become more about influencers becoming spokespeople for these companies.
They cost less.
Not just cost less, but farther reach, cost less, and they're interchangeable, meaning that our culture now moves progressively faster. Like we're in trends, out of trends, and over things very, very quickly. So less big name celebrities that might have a longer shelf life, but you can pay a newer influencer less and just swap them out whenever the next big thing comes in.
I kind of think it's just going to be like a smarter way of integrating ads into what they're doing. Like if you see the Fast and Furious movie, he's always drinking a Corona beer, but it's like a little bit too on the nose. They'll just get smarter at being able to integrate it in the background.
My favorite is product placement. It's like they're awkwardly holding the bottle so that the camera can see it. I was just watching an episode of a show called The Glades. It's from like 2011 on A&E, and there's this weird, it makes no sense, like this character is eating like a bag of Reese's Pieces, and he's like holding it like this facing the camera, and it's the most awkward look. Like it's very clearly like the guy's like, okay, and you have to the camera's going to be framed here, so you need to hold it about chest level. So he's like, he seals the bag, he doesn't set it down, he just sits there with both hands on it, holding it like this.
I like when it's on the nose.
It's super on the nose.
Yeah.
But I think that social media influencers will allow them to integrate more naturally into it, and then the world's going to get even worse. You're going to be watching some video of some shock video online where a guy gets hit, and it's going to be an advertisement for some company because he's wearing their gloves.
Well, like that's the low IQ content now. I think you might have noticed that like TikTok content, that's lowest common denominator. Yeah. Somehow YouTube Shorts is even worse than that. It's like non-verbal communication and globalized communication.
Yeah.
Well, all the TikTok content is really trying to hone in on the idea that they need to get you past the first 5 seconds. Like YouTube content is like click the thumbnail. TikTok is like hide their face for 5 seconds or hide what's actually going to happen for a little bit. And it's just like very, like you said, lowest common denominator. But it's not actually about delivering on anything. It's just, can I get you to watch the first 5?
Dude, they're gonna go film like prank videos at bus stops, like at like bus benches, and they're gonna put their own ads over the bus bench, and then like just take it down when they're done.
It's like
The smart person would do that at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean that would be it's like you don't leave it up there. You just take it down when you're done. You know that I had like in Minnesota we have this all the bus benches are like realtors, right? And we have this one who looks just like Cenk Uygur, and a guy would draw a mustache on all of them and write "F you, Cenk Uygur" on all of the benches.
Just because he looks like
Because he hates Cenk Uygur. This guy, it's not Cenk Uygur. It's just this guy looks like him. So this some dude I lived by went out of his way to like mark up 3 benches, and I would just giggle every time I would see it. It would make me laugh. But you're going to film videos and you're going to be able to start integrating products more naturally into stuff like that. And now it's even more common with like college athletes. They're not, you can't make money as a college athlete in the sport, but you get NIL deals, name, image, likeness deals, where you're allowed to make money off of, your brand. You become your own brand. Yeah. And a lot of these college athletes start making these Instagram ads or these, ads for these companies, and they're making good money doing stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like hundreds of thousands of dollars. So like that's the world's going to become one big ad. Yeah. Really, in a lot of ways. And Dylan Mulvaney might be the worst example of that, meaning that Dylan Mulvaney is selling his their identity as a product, right? Yeah. It's a product that makes him money, and everybody else has to be along for the ride. And to feign as if you're going to try to make content elsewhere, not around your identity, is ridiculous.
If Dylan Mulvaney makes a political, non-identity related content, I will be shocked. But that is not in the future.
But maybe they think they've made it already. I had to do all the most extreme version of myself to make all this popularity, get these brand deals. But now that I'm sitting pretty, now I can do what I was going to do initially, like go on The Price is Right and dance and be
go on The Price is Right.
When you really think about it, like now, Dylan Mulvaney could go back to Broadway and be a huge draw.
So true.
Like left Broadway because didn't succeed, could go back to Broadway and make a ton of money.
Oh, it'd be a huge draw for that community.
Huge draw. Like so, in the sense, won.
Insane.
They won.
Oh, yeah, they did. It's already said and done. They'd already won.
The algorithm has decided for us, and we're not allowed to have a say in the matter now, and that's really, really terrifying to me. Because we're gonna be going, like, imagine this: we're gonna go visit New York, and you're gonna be driving down and like tonight, Wicked starring Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah,
Dylan Mulvaney will be bigger than the word Wicked on the poster.
Yes, that'd be like, oh man, we have just degraded as a culture. It's awful. Also, it also should speak to just how terrifying it is that people believe that this image of them saying, like, we should make misgendering someone illegal. There's going to be a ton of people that are like, they should do that.
Well, there's certain countries that are like that already, right? Isn't Jordan Peterson getting in trouble for that?
Being rude online is essentially
in the UK,
illegal.
Yeah.
In a lot of places. Yeah.
Like in the UK, you can get in trouble you can get arrested for arguing with people on Facebook and misgendering
in like
people.
Singapore, I know that there was like a YouTuber who talked about, he was critical of religion and like Christianity and Islam, and was got in trouble for just that online activity. Yeah. Being disrespectful to religions.
Mary's like, score. Mary's like, yes, arrest him for it.
No.
Yes. All right.
Not good.
All right, we got some super chats there, Mary.
Vanguard N7 said, my dad does have a 5-foot-long iguana called Godzilla. I call Godzilla. Well, what does he call it?
Yeah, does it have a different name?
I didn't know iguanas could be that big.
Vanguard, you will have to send it to my Twitter, hashtag PCC Pets.
Please do. Trucker and Taurus said crisis party.
Yes,
thank you for the party. Disco Jensen sent another thumbs up. Thank you. Toe Phone Man said wokeism is too woke. Mary knows the secret. Shh.
What's the secret, Mary?
What the hell are you talking about?
What is the secret?
I wish I were able to play along.
Let's hold off. Let's hold off on the rest, and we will come back. Yeah, do one more. Do Martin Santiago. Yep.
He said Duncan is doing boba now. Cultural appropriation.
Is that what that is?
We were talking about this with George Alexopoulos downstairs, and he said it's funny how boba has kind of become like a craze in recent years. It wasn't as common before. I didn't know Duncan was doing boba though. I thought that they were just doing the popping bubbles, which I don't really think counts. It has to be the tapioca pearls.
Do you drink boba?
Time here and there, not too much. But I mean, I don't think it's cultural appropriation as long as it's good, right? If they do it, and they do a
Food
terrible
was
job out of
always
it.
the exemption.
Yeah.
Food should be off limits. Everyone should be able to eat other people's food and enjoy other food, and people should be able to make whatever they want, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Now, Mattel is launching the first Barbie doll with Down syndrome. And a lot of people have a lot of opinions about it. This is part of their line of inclusive and diverse dolls. They've done this before with other disabilities, a Barbie in a wheelchair, for instance. They've changed Barbies so that they have different builds, like there are plus-size Barbies, different races, all that type of stuff. And generally, we're on the same page where we just think this is performative woke marketing, right?
Yeah.
But now I see some conservatives are actually, and just people who are critical of wokeness in general, are in favor of this one.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to, like, let's just show the ad for it first, so you get the picture. It's not
the what ad
the AP posted it.
I don't think I have that.
Yeah, I sent it to you. It's a tweet.
I only have the thing from The Guardian here. The Guardian and Yahoo Life.
It's on Slack.
Okay, hold on. I don't think I have that one. Oh, yes. No, never mind. I do. That was okay. Hold on. There we go.
Barbie, qui est une trisomie 21. Je trouve qu'elle a sa place parmi toutes les Barbies.
Sorry if you're listening and you can't read the
Dans la
subtitles.
société. Et je connais mon expérience et on peut vivre heureux avec.
Barbie can play an important role in a child's early experiences. And we're dedicated to combating social stigma and enabling all children to see themselves in Barbie, as well as have a Barbie that reflects the world around them.
Is there something inherent to the doll that is noticeable that makes it that somebody would be able to recognize?
So like
that makes it.
Yeah, there's a lineup of it over on the Guardian article where it puts
Yeah.
them side by side. She has like the leg braces and has like I think the what is it? Different hairline or maybe different jawline. Yeah.
They like changed the jawline. They gave the eyes an upward slant, which is a characteristic.
There's something to be said that they put more. It's not like they just slapped a new label
They
on
also
it.
they made this doll shorter but with a longer torso. They said that was part of the change. And there are I looked into this before the show because I wasn't sure. There are a lot of medical issues that people with Down syndrome are prone to, so it's not just how you look. They have like oftentimes epilepsy, blood disorders, sleep disorders, dental and digestive issues, like a long list of things. They have like weakened immune systems and stuff like that. So a lot of things that you don't see on first glance.
Yes.
But there have been other examples of this. For instance, like models with Down syndrome. There was a Victoria's Secret model recently debuted who has Down syndrome, which was incredibly controversial because is someone with a cognitive disability able to consent to modeling lingerie, which is inherently something that is sexualized? I don't like the woke overtures in that direction either.
And I asked the chat if they thought that this was. I said,
I knew there'd be a
support...
lot of mixed opinions here.
So it says, do you support Mattel launching a Barbie with Down syndrome? And it's 61% in favor and 39% not in favor. So it's pretty split.
They also think we need a Brett Barbie.
That's yes, yeah. That's what we need.
We need a short king, Ken.
Yes, can have two different color eyes.
Yeah, heterochromia Ken.
That's a fantastic.
Where are we getting that?
It's a fantastic idea.
So yeah, obviously some mixed reactions here. I wanted to read Matt Walsh's take. This was interesting.
Yep.
He said, I know some conservatives are calling this woke, but I don't see it that way. It's pro-life. The left is exterminating Down syndrome children. They are the victims of an actual eugenics campaign. This is one case where inclusion and representation actually is important. Obviously, Mattel didn't intend for this to be pro-life, but we should embrace it that way. Take a cultural win, even if it wasn't supposed to be a cultural win for us.
I mean, I think it's really just, when it comes down to it, never ever expect a corporation to act like a human being. They want to make money, and they see this as a market they can fill.
Yeah, I wonder if they go unsold, how long will Barbie or Mattel take a loss on this if it's not actually doing what they want?
It'll be fantastic for their social score, for their social credit score,
Well,
for
I
their
think-
ESG score.
I think that it is going to sell well. Only
It's already
because,
selling out. Yes,
yeah,
they said.
because there are so many parents of kids with Down syndrome out there who want to buy this doll for them, and it feels like it's the right thing to do. But I was questioning it because I think here's this perspective. Barbie is supposed to be an aspirational fantasy of adult life for little girls. Someone who has no problems. Like, she literally has no problems. She looks perfect, has the perfect boyfriend, has the perfect house, the perfect car. She's beautiful. Her friends are perfect. And you don't need to complicate it any more than that. You don't need to make it representative of anyone's real life, because that doesn't represent anyone's real life, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a fantasy that she lives in. And even if she couldn't, anatomically exist in the real world, it doesn't matter, because she is a fictitious person. So the idea that you need to other a child with a disability more than they already are socially by giving them even a different doll than their friends have.
You think it would be better for them to have the same dolls as everyone else? 'Cause
Why
it
do you need to
integrates them
make a
more.
kid more conscious of the fact that they're different from other kids?
Yeah.
And it is also a denial of the reality that having Down syndrome is a defect. It is something that is wrong with the person and comes with all sorts of different medical complications and social complications that obviously shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be treated differently for having it. Yeah. But it is something that's wrong with you, you know?
Because like none of the girls that play with Barbie dolls look like Barbie. So
No.
Does the woman with Down syndrome or the girl with Down syndrome, is she actually going to prefer the Down syndrome doll? Like it's a false equivalency, but I don't remember myself being a kid and being like, I want to play with action figures, but I will not play with an action figure until they're a skinny Asian guy with like weird hair. Like everybody plays with a big buff like Spider-Man toy because that's just the fantasy of action figures. I don't know if there is a demand for saying, why don't we make them look less ideal?
Why would you want to be more like the doll when the doll is supposed to be a fantasy to you rather than like I said, G.I. Joes. I didn't look anything like G.I. Joes, believe it or not, when I was a kid. But we've had this discussion before about men and women experience these things differently. How men see themselves as characters and how women see themselves as characters are different. But like you said, if she's pretending to be Barbie, why wouldn't she want to pretend to be aspirational rather than to be something that's already like how she is? I do want to give them a lot of credit for not just being thoughtless and just slapping a label on it. They clearly did their research. They looked into what would the conditions be. They spoke to experts in the field, and there's something to be said about that. And I think there is a fair message to be made that in a society that seems to be increasingly pushing towards
literal eugenics, and I'm not going to deny that for a second. There is a eugenics campaign against people with Down syndrome, no doubt about it. As I was saying earlier, in Iceland, they claim to have eradicated Down syndrome in their country. It's not because they suddenly found a cure for Down syndrome. It's because they are eliminating them in the womb. Yeah. And that is a eugenics campaign. And it should be opposed, of course. But is a solution to this creating a doll that looks like she has Down syndrome? Who is this actually helping? This is clearly something that makes adults feel good about themselves.
Yeah,
not
it's more about
something that kids have been asking for.
It's more about the parents being able to buy this for their child than it is perhaps about the child actually wanting this particular Barbie.
Is Mattel willing to come out and speak out against the eugenics campaign against Down syndrome people? No, they're not. They will never do that. Yeah. This is purely a performative gesture, and it doesn't help anybody.
I mean, I see this as just kind of the extension of where we would go as markets, as these companies try to find ways to distinguish themselves and find new markets to fill. It's the myth of the phantom new audience that everyone's always looking for. A company gets big and they want to keep growing, right? You have to constantly expand, and eventually you've reached such a point in the market, there's nowhere else to expand, so you have to find more creative ways to do that. And it's who decides what conditions are okay? Like they've put people in wheelchair, they've put Barbie in a wheelchair and all these things. Do you think that people want these dolls? Did they sell? I don't know.
Did Down syndrome kids ask, hey, why doesn't Barbie look like me? No, they're not self-conscious in the ways that adults are conscious of their differences.
Yeah.
That's the point. You don't call it to their attention that they are different from everyone else. You just treat them like a person. It's not that complicated.
Well, you can't make 9,000 variations of just a person Barbie, unfortunately.
It's like I was saying just yesterday, right? That we have Karens, diversity Karens, running Hollywood and running like all of the entertainment industry, including toys and entertainment for kids, that are, paying special attention to all of their kids, but with a little favoritism towards the one that can't read or write or do basic math. Yeah. And that's overlaid onto all of society. But it really is dehumanizing people with disabilities even more, in my opinion.
Like, I wonder if it's a thing where, like, I got pretty lucky, like, being born, like, I was born deaf in one ear, and I was born with a heart condition. But it's not like that was anything outward that was going to affect, the hearing thing actually does affect me, because like I tend to be like, I'm a person, like if I'm in a room of people, I tend to either talk too loud or too quiet as a result of not being able to hear out of one ear. But it's not like it's something, I wouldn't have wanted people drawing more attention to it. It would have just made me uncomfortable to have it focused on more, like there was, I had options in school, right, where they could either put you in the front of the class, like they would always either put you in the front of the class and on a certain side so that your good ear's facing the teacher when she talks, or they could have the teacher wear like an audio set, like wear like a head, like with a speaker. And I didn't want them doing that because people are like, why is this teacher doing that? And then they're going to explain like, it's because somebody in this class can't hear. So like, I don't care enough about, like, I didn't want that to be a thing. I would rather have just been like discreetly like, yeah, place me in the front of the class. I'll sit here. That's fine. That's my own problem to deal with. I wouldn't want to sit there and focus on it. Obviously, I'm talking about something that's vastly different. It's my only, it's the only analog I can compare to myself because I'm trying to find some middle ground here.
But it's like, that kids are mean. I can only imagine the girls in the schoolyard having this lineup of 5 Barbies and one of them being Down syndrome Barbie, and who's getting the Down syndrome Barbie, it's going to be seen as a bad thing, even amongst them. So
because
it's almost
kids are cruel.
Kids are cruel, and they're very honest about these things. So it's like to placate the, participation trophy of some executive in Mattel saying, "Oh, look, I did this great thing. We're so on the cutting edge of being nice to everybody." They're actually going to make it very tough, life harder for certain people.
Yeah, like
they're actually
at first,
consuming it.
It's interesting because at first you seemed to think that this was a positive thing when we began talking about it. But do you think maybe it's not? I don't know.
I see it as just anything else that's virtue signaling, and I would be very curious to know if Mattel would continuously take a loss at making their diversity and inclusion.
They will. They'll happily take the loss because it's good for their stock price.
But I mean, I feel like if I went to a toy store right now, they did wheelchair Barbie at one point in time. They did it as a one-off, but are they still stocking the shelves with wheelchair Barbie, or did that kind of run its cycle?
They did the body diversity thing. That's still a thing. But it's like, even when they did that, the reason that Barbie is this 6 foot tall, skinny blonde chick with...
Is she really 6 feet tall?
I mean, whatever she is.
No, her neck is like twice the length of any real neck.
That is anatomically impossible and has a dream house and a pink Bugatti.
That's what the Andrew Tate Barbie
No
needs.
one was ever going to feel represented by that, and that's fine. It's supposed to be for fantasy, for kids to play with. They know that that's not real life.
Then maybe that's just our obsession with narcissism now.
Why are adults projecting what they feel onto children? I don't like that.
You can monetize social pressure though, because if you don't go out there, if you bought the wheelchair Barbie and you don't buy the Down syndrome Barbie, it's like, what are you, a bad person? You support that one but not the other one, so you're almost compelled to do it. But I guess to answer your question on saying like me changing my mind on it, genuinely feel like I have, because I thought seeing Barbie initially being like, oh yeah, you're Down syndrome Barbie. I've known people with Down syndrome, so I feel like, oh yeah, they could probably feel more in line with it. But when you actually kind of think of it critically, it was like, wait, this is some ideal scenario they put in some one ad where they have a person that's being paid to, fawn over the Barbie that looks like them. But I just think that, other than in that marketing agency, if you just had it with regular people with that with Down syndrome, I don't see them, like, there's no practicality of this.
I don't think that kids with Down syndrome see themselves as that different from everyone else. But when you make them hyper aware of their differences, that's not good for their development.
Yeah.
I wonder what Doll Click is in the chat today. I wonder what Doll Click's take on this is. Doll Click says dolls have been around for eternity. I feel like Doll Click thoughts on this. I haven't been able to follow the chat super closely. I would like to know what somebody who is a doll maker thinks of this situation. I just see it as an extension of, like, look, these are companies that need to make money and that want to make money, and they're looking for markets to fill. And
it's working, but it's because you're selling it to adults. Let's be honest.
I don't know how many of the kids, like, maybe they do. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. I don't have the condition, so I wouldn't be able to tell how.
Down syndrome kids don't think like, I'm different because I have Down syndrome. They just think I'm a kid.
Yes.
They're just living their lives and being kids, and we need to just let kids be kids. That's how I feel.
Adults can't seem to leave the kids alone these days.
Yeah, and it's like crazy that in a time when it's normalized to literally murder people for having Down syndrome, that's my opinion at least, that is when we harp most on it not being something that's wrong with them. Like, really? The double talk is what gets me. Saying, we've got a super chat from CK. I'm confused why we're losing focus on idealism. Barbie, superheroes, etc. are meant to present an ideal to shoot for. We can argue if a particular ideal is healthy, but there's nothing wrong with aspiring to a positive model. This
is why men and women experience superheroes differently. Men see superheroes and they think,
Thank you.
Like, men see superheroes and they're like, holy crap, look at this buff dude saving the world.
Yes. Right? So unserious.
Yes.
Let's not take a fucking minute. Let's go again.
See, he was making a Terminator movie when he did that. So, like, when men see superheroes, it's aspirational. They want to be like that guy, and they aspire to it. When women, now I'm not saying all women, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, like, women see superheroes that are the peak of physical fitness, and they go, oh my God, those are unrealistic beauty standards.
Well, yeah, it's like I'd never looked at the Hulk doll and be like, my God, that's super unrealistic.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be green with delts like that.
Or not even him, but even somebody like Batman in the peak of physical fitness who doesn't have any superpowers, right? Yeah. Or Captain America, who's got super serum and he's buff and he's chiseled. And guys are like, I wish I could look like that. I'm going to go to the gym. I wish, like, in his dreams, he could save the world.
Like, ideals are supposed to be unattainable by nature.
Yeah.
That's what we're not realizing.
So the doll is not an ideal. The doll is just a sad reflection, a sad corporate reflection of reality.
Why do we need to lie to ourselves and say that disabilities are actually superpowers? They make people's lives harder. That's a fact.
That's why marketing.
Exactly. Like, that's why we need to accept, first and foremost, that this thing does make someone's life harder, and there should be, accommodations for that because of that. Like, if it were a superpower, I don't think they would need our help with anything, Yeah. Like, that's I don't like the cognitive dissonance about that. And, like, why would we need to frame it that way to treat them like they're fully human and have human dignity? Like, they have dignity regardless of whether something is wrong with them. That's how we need to view it.
I'm going to read Doll Click's responses. So Doll Click says, dolls can be anything, not just fantasy. You can make of it what you want. Dolls have been around in many ways forever. And then goes on, I think if you're not into dolls, you don't get some magical part of it that's hard to explain. That's hard to explain. So it's like, I actually get that, because I think, like, for a lot of people, like, like me with skating, it's very hard to explain what about that sport matters to me to someone that doesn't do it, right? So I think that would be true of a lot of things in any subculture.
Well, dolls in general, sure, they don't have to be a fantasy, but we're talking about Barbie right now, like in the brand that it's built up.
$20 one right there.
Honest Adams Discount Warehouse.
I like that name.
Hi, Marianne Brett. Since you are now friends with Ethan Van Sciver, maybe you could get his brother Noah on. He is a great comic artist, more in tune with Bib Crumb. What does that mean?
Hilarious.
He is hilarious and would be a great guest.
That would be cool.
We'll look into that.
That would
Thank
be cool.
you for the suggestion.
I actually I went into Ethan's stream the other day and donated, like, and super chatted and just said hi.
Nice.
Like I don't even remember what they were talking about like that day.
If there are any other suggestions for who you guys want on the show, please send them anywhere you'd like. We're always looking to reach out to people.
Yes, we want more people to come here, and like I think we take for granted sometimes, like, because we talk about these things every day, like, and then some people come in and they're like, oh my god, what is going on in the world? You know what I mean? Like, they're like, holy crap, like just like I'm sure a lot of people, like, if people went and like did a deep dive into the stuff you cover, they're gonna be like, oh my god, this stuff's going on in the world.
Yeah, I always like getting international commenters, people from like not in the country. Like, I had no idea this is what was happening over in the U.S. right now.
Because they have a very limited view of what we do, or of what they see of America.
They see Hollywood and reality TV, and they think it's just kind of a representation of it, and it just, to some extent, it is, but not the entirety.
Do you have like a large audience from outside the U.S.?
No, I think it's predominant. Like, I think it's 80% U.S.
It would
viewers.
make more sense.
But then, like, comments that would stick out to me when I see it, it's like, oh, I'm from Berlin, or I'm from Australia, and I didn't realize this was over there. So
yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, for me, I think it's one of those things that it's interesting that you can reach people. Like, that's the cool thing about these, like, that you can reach people and talk to people about stuff from all over the world, about issues that are not just pertaining to you or you. Like, Dylan Mulvaney is an extremely American issue right now.
Yes.
It feels like to me, like maybe it's a sign of, you know, cultural problems that go farther than America. But Dylan Mulvaney is a very American issue. Barbie is a worldwide brand, right? Barbie is not just America.
That's true.
Is that true?
I mean, it's based on an American girl who really existed.
Believe it or not, I didn't play with Barbies growing up, so I don't know anything about, like, but G.I. Joe is a worldwide brand, but it was real American heroes.
But would you think that Dylan Mulvaney is a artificially American issue due to Chinese algorithms and TikTok? Because he's had they have had several attempts on becoming popular on different mediums. TikTok is the only one the algorithm really pushed, and no, the TikTok's algorithm would not push it for their own people. So is this something that's been artificially put inside society because it's very, very divisive, and it's
by China?
Yeah, by China.
Yeah, like, I mean, I do, like, I'm on the fence on that one. Like, I'm always loath to be like it's a great big conspiracy.
You guys are being off color in the chat.
Are they?
Low self-esteem Barbie.
There was worse ones up there. I saw Methadone Clinic Barbie.
Baby
up there.
Mama Barbie. Oh, come on, Antifa Barbie.
It's got like a little. It's got like a little Molotov
Be
cocktail.
serious.
It's got like a little Molotov cocktail and a copy of the Communist Manifesto in the other hand. As it's throwing it towards some poor co-op in Seattle. That
I just know there have been like sexy Antifa Halloween costumes.
Oh my god!
What does that even
What the
entail?
hell? What the hell does slutty Antifa look like?
Or like slutty Proud Boy.
What? No. What the hell
Couples costume idea?
What the hell does slutty Antifa look like?
Star-crossed lovers,
Wait,
one Antifa member and one Proud Boy.
Is it like a black bloc sweater, but it's like it's unzipped most of the way?
You're gonna have to get creative there.
This is. I'm terrified right now. Like, what does slutty Antifa Barbie look like? A slutty Antifa costume look like, Mary?
I think we need to get into super chat.
Okay, let's. You know what? The hell with it. Let's do it, because I don't want to think about it anymore. Though I am kind of down at the idea of one person going as Antifa and the other one going as a Proud Boy.
Or like a tiki torch march. Yeah. Okay.
Jeez.
DD Mega Doodoo 97 said, "Hey y'all, have you heard that Peacock is making a Twisted Metal adaptation? A friend of a guy who I know is the stunt double or driver on it. Game adaptations are the future."
Is there yes, and I do believe that we're moving closer to a day where video game adaptations will slowly replace comic book movie adaptations. Whether they'll actually be good, I don't know.
But that's the thing is like you do an adaptation of Last of Us because it was a very like a
story-centric game.
But then Twisted Metal is like just cars, ice cream cones getting thrown at each other.
There's more room to work there because with less story, you can just build something around it. Like there's a reason why I think people like there's more room to grow there rather than The Last of Us, which they had to make literally like a one-for-one copy. Like otherwise people were going to be pissed. They made the Halo TV series. Everybody
Except
was
it wasn't
pissed.
a one-for-one.
It wasn't
copy.
one for one. It's like, are they going to make one of the cars into a bicycle that just identifies as a car in Twisted Metal, and then it just
let's go. There's a $20 one right there.
Omnitravis said, quack, quack, what's up, Decoy voice? You got to show Hunter for PCC Pets. I tweeted the other day.
What? He tweeted to me the other day.
Yeah.
I will have to check that.
I've got a lot of submissions.
I've gotten guys. You can resubmit under the hashtag PCC Pets or tag me in it.
You guys are being out of pocket.
I got behind
right
because
now.
I've obviously been
MAGA
under the
Barbie.
weather. Well, what is that? Just that's.
I'm
just
not even gonna read some of these.
MAGA Barbie's just Fox News anchors.
AOC Barbie.
MAGA Barbie is just Fox News anchors. That's all that is.
Guys,
I mean, if he can sell those NFTs all the time, MAGA Barbie would sell out almost overnight, right?
Yeah.
He could get a deal with like American. What's the other one? American Girl.
Oh yeah,
dolls,
American
very
Girl.
expensive.
Are they like super expensive?
Yeah, it's a thing over at the Grove over in like downtown LA. It's like
Rich people.
Has
rich
it
people
inflated?
stuff.
Really? I like saved up my money and bought them when I was a kid, and they were like $100 each.
That sounds like a lot of money.
Thank you. Yeah. That's a lot of money. I'm not.
I mean, it is a lot of money for a doll, but they're high quality. I would say worth it.
So they last a long time.
And they're like, yeah, you can like pass them down to your own kids. It's a long-term investment.
Okay.
The marketing behind American Girl doll is so solid. Like,
but didn't they go woke?
They did.
Yeah.
I knew that they would. It's just not when I was into them.
What did they do? Like I don't remember now.
I mean,
it's always been very inclusive.
There was some LGBT one.
I love how that doesn't make any sense because you don't look any different. Like it just makes no sense.
What they do is they write a book about the character of the year, like the girl of the year has a book associated with her and like a story about her and her personality, and like they sell her pet and her, her clothes that she likes to wear. Like it's all a big thing.
In the chat, somebody says Lauren Boebert Barbie.
Oh, Boebert Barbie?
Let's go.
Bo Barbie?
Let's go.
Love that. Rod Fluffer said, Dafo, duck around, find out. Hi,
hey.
Mr. Decoy.
What's up, Rod? Yeah. Good to see people like Rod and Omni Travis over here. I've seen them in my chat before.
Unusual Alpaca said, if true, the leading cause of death in kids is gun violence, could it be that kids just don't generally die from anything, so that statistic may be skewed just a bit to form a narrative?
I think it's actually, like, if you look at those statistics, it's actually car accidents are the most common way that kids die.
There'll also be, like, certain statistics where it's, like, one kid committed suicide, like one preteen committed suicide, and then 2 the next year, and they're like, it doubled.
Also,
misleading.
I think, as far as I know, don't more people die from punches than from guns anyways?
Wow.
Like, more people die from
and then on TV you think that it's something that you can just shake off.
Yeah. Like, well, no, I mean that's one of the reasons why they say like you shouldn't ever get into a fist fight because it's very easy to end up with like a manslaughter charge because you could hit somebody
or a concussion.
Or anything. I mean,
it's incredibly easy to break down doors on TV. Break metal chains with sheer force.
That does not bother me as much as lockpicking. Lockpicking on TV is the biggest bunch of bullshit you will ever. They're like click click. I'm like, no, that's not the way. Like they do it with like freaking like paper clips and clothespins.
I saw one where Dolly Parton just put her fake nail into the lock.
Dude, I'm watching it. I'm like, that paper clip would just bend and break. It wouldn't work. Like, and then I'm like, of course, I'm like, then I'm the buzzkill who has to be out here like talking to everyone. Like, actually, guys, that wouldn't work. And then everybody hates me because I'm pointing that out because I can't keep my mouth shut. I'm like, yeah, he doesn't even have a rake and tension tool. That's not gonna work. Sorry, dude.
Urashima Artaru said it's 100% woke. Walsh is agreeing with woke's premise. I think that he thinks that it's a good thing inadvertently that they
Yes,
did.
it's woke, but he's just saying that there's aspects of it that he finds redeemable because of the issue of, in a way that
it's not as bad as if they made Dylan Mulvaney Barbie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what he's saying is that the opposite would be the don't even have them born Barbie, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. Like, that's what's happening otherwise, right?
Which is good. It shows that he has nuance, though. He doesn't just think everything from this camp is bad.
Yep. Well, you have to take everything as like not everything is just an all or nothing comparison.
I just think it's bad even when it's good because I hate everything.
Yeah.
That's what everyone loves about you, man.
I'm
over
we were
here.
like joking earlier about how like why is it that when everyone dies, people say like they were a light in every room they walked in, and I'd be like, she brought down the vibe of every room.
I will gladly go to your funeral, Mary, and be like, guys, every room was a little bit darker when Mary was in it.
1,000 Foot Defense said, "Welcome to the show, Decoy Voice.
Thank you.
A vote for Heterochromia Ken. He'll come with a mic and headphones for podcasting and a pair of aggressive inline skates."
I'm so down for that. What they'll do is they'll end up screwing the eye colors up. They'll put the hazel eye on the other eye and then the brown eye on the other eye.
It's not accurate.
And they can in the headphone, or they can have the one headphone that can double as a hearing aid, since for the heterochromia half-deaf Barbie.
Yes.
Half-deaf Ken.
Yeah. Kai said, "Let's make Crack Baby Barbie next." Oof.
I mean, yeah, like, you know, they're gonna have to do something next. What's next? They're gonna have to find the next cause.
Keep upping the ante.
Yeah.
Antifa Barbie.
Antifa
Barbie.
Upping the Antifa Barbie.
She comes there with a little Molotov cocktail and her black hoodie.
I love it.
And in her copy of the Communist Manifesto or Rules for Radicals.
We need Ghost Barbie
that
to represent me.
Does that exist? That's probably already a thing. Ghost Barbie?
Convincing Reality said, "If toys are aspirational, then they should be tempered with reality. Maybe selling a perfect view of adult life to generations of kids is part of the reason we're in the cultural mess we currently are."
I actually believe that to an extent. I do think that we've sold kids a bill of goods about the perfect life. I think we've definitely done that when it comes to relationships.
Part of that.
Maybe. I mean, maybe, like
I just think, you know, us criticizing the ideal and maybe thinking that the ideal should be different is a whole other conversation than saying we shouldn't have an ideal at all.
Yeah. Like, I do think in a lot of ways we've made relationships in a lot of ways impossible because we've told everyone to have these unrealistic standards. Like, everyone, like, they always say never settle for know your worth. That's one of the worst platitudes. Know your worth. I'm like, dude, I wouldn't be able to calculate my worth. I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Like, that's not saying anything.
Cut off toxic people in your life.
Dude, that's the worst propaganda, is like social media propaganda, where they're basically like, oh, you have a parent that disagrees with you.
Block your mom's
block
number.
your parents on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, that's a thing. Like, there's like, I always point this out to her. I'm like, on Sundays, Instagram like bombards me with like weird propaganda that's like the opposite of my world. Like, because everyone's social media tends to be tempered to whatever they, you know, it's an algorithm. So it's going to form itself around what you choose to look at. But every Sunday it goes all weird AI on me, and it's sending me all this stuff that is just like, it's like, oh, cut off your parents because you got a dad who watches Tucker
Jeffrey
Carlson.
Or
Or stuff like that. I'm like, but it's always on Sundays, and I never know why. It's crazy.
Or
like,
you're just schizophrenic.
Yes, man. It's like, have you ever seen that the meme where it says like, I was looking up it's like, I went online to look up causes of dementia and found out and all the links are purple. Because he's already got it, Mary. It's funny.
It's funny.
Fine, don't laugh.
Oh.
There's two more.
Yes. It's over 9,000 said, "Brett, I recommend the movie Falcon Rising with Michael J. White. It's one of those few rare movies where Neil McDonough isn't a bad guy."
That's first of all, that is rare. Neil McDonough plays a fantastic, smarmy bad guy. Like he played Damien Dark in season 4 of Arrow, and I hated it because he wasn't smarmy bad. He was just evil bad, and he's better when he's smarmy bad. I mean, he looks like every CEO banker you've ever seen, who looks like he's got a coke and hooker habit. and it's awesome. He's great at it. He's not like he's religious in real life. He doesn't do he won't even do sex scenes or any type of. He won't even
Didn't
kiss.
you say he doesn't do kissing scenes?
Yeah,
either?
because he wants to be.
We were like debating about this yesterday.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out because Michael J. White is awesome too. Also, I still don't know if it's Jay White or Jai White. J-A-I.
Oh, I just said Jay. I don't know.
I thought it was Jay.
I had no idea on that one.
Trucker and Taurus said working on both of those Barbies now.
Perfect.
Yeah, we need Mary and Brett Barbies.
That's
Podcaster Barbie.
Please don't make a Barbie of me. Whatever you do, I don't want my own version of a Ken doll. Nothing like that, please. Though I do see a lot of people get like crocheted dolls. Like people will crochet other people's dolls.
That's cute.
My dad was a whittler. My dad would whittle like sculptures, stuff like that.
That's nice.
Yeah. All right. I got a couple questions for you before we go.
Oh, yes, sir.
I want to know, like, when you got started doing everything that you've been doing on your channel, was it stuff you were already covering, or was it a shock to see how much stuff came up?
I just kind of was like a bootleg Timcast in the very beginning. I just covered political things, and then the more I was able to cover like crime and culture, it was more relevant to like what I've seen in my life. I had more to say, so naturally those videos were just the better, more well-rounded. Like it was just better content, so then I just kind of fell more into it. But I mean, in the field that I had worked in previously, where I was dealing with a lot of the homeless, I was dealing with a lot of people committing like petty crimes and everything. It was just good to be able to get the message out there of like, hey, you guys are all cheering on things in California like Prop 47, 57, and 64 as if they're these nice progressive things that are like fixing all our community's ailments, but it's like it just exacerbated the problem. A lot of my friends are just going to be the default liberals, so it's nice to not advertise my channel to them, but then the more I would talk about my stuff and I would have stuff like a big body of content, and then people would just incidentally find me, it was nice for them to like have an eye-opening moment of like they didn't realize all the stuff was happening, but I always kind of did.
Do you feel like how long do you feel like it took before you found your voice with what you wanted to cover?
Maybe like a year or so.
Yeah. And
I'm still kind of tinkering with it now. I'm enjoying some success, but I still feel like to be able to become like, a bigger channel, I'll need to figure out better ways to approach it.
Before you came here, I was like, what if this guy just doesn't have opinions? Because all you do is present the facts. And it just shows what your point of view is based on what you choose to cover, which is sort of the same thing that as us. But like you do just present like the facts of the situation, and it's like do what you will with this info.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's important, because it's like I don't have like a pharmaceutical company like or a major network telling me what I can and cannot cover and what races to kind of steer clear from. So it's like, let me give you all the facts as if what CNN should be telling you, and then when they get the live streams, I have a longer form and I can kind of more address how I feel about things. But it's like I think it's very important to have a medium that I was always looking for. I thought CNN and Fox News should tell me an unbiased opinion, but it very much isn't. So it's good to kind of create the content you've been seeking.
I also like that you make things super concise and structured. And when you're talking about like the mainstream news platforms, they string you along for as long as possible for ratings.
It's like
without presenting anything new.
It's like reading articles, and it takes till paragraph 7 before they actually get into what the hell they're talking about, because they just make BS up for the first 5 paragraphs of the article. I hate that.
Journalism.
And that's the problem, though, because I feel like I'll cover something like Donut Operator or Officer Tatum will cover, and everybody in the comments complains. It takes them a good 2 minutes to get to the like meat and potatoes of the topic he teased in the thumbnail, but they're doing significantly better than me. So maybe there's something to not being, concise and right to the point. But I mean, that's where like you see the thumbnail, you want to click it, you want to see what's happening. You don't want to see somebody babble for a while, but maybe I'm doing things wrong. Literally all we do is babble all day long, do we not, Mary?
I'm okay with that.
We are babblers here.
Yeah, people love it.
Well, but it's to me, I think there's it's also, those are different markets, right? Like there's a difference between putting on a live stream or a show on YouTube and like leaving it on as you do things around the house, and where a topic is really, really important. All you want is that information right away, without spin, without bias, and then go from there. That's a different type of viewing experience. Yeah, so I'm just trying to find the happy medium in there, because I figured like when you look at the weather app, it's because you want to look at the weather. When you turn on the news, it's like they're going to keep on teasing you if it's going to rain tomorrow for the next like half an hour. It's never going to happen. I saw something where it's like the Weather Channel was like talking about diversity, and somebody's like, what the hell? Like, just tell me the weather, dude.
Haven't you heard that the weather is racist and that the climate is racist?
I knew the climate was racist. Yeah.
No, I just remember listening to ESPN where we're listening to sports at work just on talk radio, and all of a sudden they've droned on for 20 minutes on consent in college campuses, and I was like, you're talking about college athletes, and all of a sudden you've just gone on for that forever. And I'm like, see, this is why that whole medium is dying, because it's just all about, like, make you think a particular way. So I want to be the opposite of just, here's the facts, here's a video, here's some clippings from some news.
It's also cool because it's because of the platform and the mediums, it allows you to grow. Whereas like when people get a show on a network, that structure is in a lot of ways set, and it doesn't deviate most of the time they're on air. Like the late shows are the late shows for time, and for all of time. Like very rarely does the structure change.
Yeah, formulaic.
But when you're a creator, you're going to be able to evolve in whatever way your interests go.
Yeah.
So if what you want to cover, if something else starts speaking to you down the line, you'll be able to start talking about that and move into that and go wherever you want to go with it.
Yeah, that's why they talk about, like, a lot of YouTubers have like a 2-year shelf life where they'll get into doing something like sneakers or like basketball or something, and if all of a sudden the interest dissipates and they can never pivot away from it, it's nice to be more of just like a personality as opposed to just, here's the weather, you're not an app.
Well, like even for us, like we go in and out between movies, like we do movie reviews, we'll talk about celebrities, but then you end up talking about Dylan Mulvaney, or you end up talking about Down's syndrome Barbie, which is culturally relevant but tangentially connected to all of this, because a lot of it is about having a wider berth of opinions, because you can only cover the same things for so long.
Yeah, we're just this generation of like chronically online people where we don't have necessarily a particular thing that we like. We don't love basketball and just only think of basketball. It's like, no, we just, whatever's trending, we talk about it because we're regular people having conversations. So people, like, they appreciate that.
Does the content that you cover make you get black-pilled sometimes?
I was black-pilled from my previous employment because it was just this whole scenario of,
I don't know how specific you want to get about
I'm
that.
not going to, I try to do my best to not like get doxxed through my LinkedIn and everything. But it was just a situation where I saw how bad crime was getting, and before, like, I know that there's a lot of homeless people out there that just do need help and trying to get back on their feet, but I know there's a lot of homeless people that were just like scumbags that they would jump at the opportunity to harm you for like scraps of something. And it was like, that was like my black pilled moment of, oh no, they try to paint it as a certain thing, there's some sort of systemic issue that's keeping them down. It's like, no, some of these people are just bad people. So,
and you're kind of drawing attention to it, but like hopefully it's helping more than it's hurting, because other people aren't willing to talk candidly about those things.
Because they're able to see it, like, firsthand. They'll probably have a life experience that it kind of overlaps with, and then they're able to say, hey, maybe we should stop voting for these same politicians that keep on exasperating the issues. Because I always say on my podcast, I'm not a staunch conservative. I'm just going to criticize who's in power right now. And right now in my area, it's just been unilaterally just Democrat politicians that seem to just make things worse. And a lot of my friends that are like, default liberals, they see how things are getting worse, but they can't connect the dots for some reason. They still think that Donald Trump's really bad, and Elder, I forget his first name.
Larry Elder.
He was going to be the Donald Trump of California. And I was like, this makes zero sense.
No, that makes
You're
zero.
giving coverage to the stories that are inconvenient to those people.
Yeah.
I don't know how I wanted to word this question.
Go for it.
I don't know. Like, this is not that I'm expecting you to, but like, do you feel like you want to leave? Do you feel like you want to do the mass exodus thing?
Yes, I do. 100% I do. I need to leave Los Angeles County, hopefully. I mean, I will probably end up living in California somewhere nearby because I have, like, my family and, like, I have, like, I feel like when I'm living in Los Angeles, I'm missing, like, Little League games and, like, cheerleader meets and everything. So it's like I'd like to be near them while they're still growing up and everything. So I'm not going to say, oh, see you later, I'm going to Arizona or Texas and I'm never going to see the family again. It's like, but there's places that aren't Los Angeles County.
People say, like, leave the cities, but it's like, what if you're leaving your people back there?
Yeah. And the thing is, I had my job and my career and I was stuck to it. With YouTube, I'm able to kind of just do it remotely wherever else and probably afford a nicer place outside of Los Angeles County.
True.
So that's what I'm trying to do right now. And that's just pretty much, it's sad because I've built a life in LA. I like the areas. I like the beach. I like everything about it is awesome, except for just the idea that it's just going to be too dangerous. Like, too dangerous. And if you defend yourself, you're more likely to be, they'll throw the book at you.
Charged with something than the person aggressing you,
Yeah, which is unfortunate, but I mean, I'm kind of a realist, so I know it's time to move on.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go, guys, could you hit the like button on this video? Could you subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? To all the people who came in to see Decoy Voice, thank you so much for joining us today. And why don't you let everyone know where they can find you?
Yeah, youtube.com/Decoy Voice. I'm on there. Upload videos like twice a week and then do live streams every Monday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or 10 p.m. Eastern. And also decoyvoice.com. I got some content over there and also some merch like this shirt and like the tinfoil beanie I sell over there. So check it out if you have the time. So appreciate it.
Perfect.
Tinfoil beanie.
Oh, actually, I actually have it. If you guys want a tinfoil beanie.
Let's see.
What? Yeah, heck yeah. I love this idea.
Yeah, what is it?
Does it protect me from radio waves?
No, it protects you from everything, all things government. You want a medium or large?
Oh, there are sizes of the beanie
I was wearing a...
for different skulls.
Yes, but
Let's see. Oh man,
yeah,
see,
so-
I already feel safe from government radiation.
so we're
and
all
intervention.
already over here, and we're
I
just
love
going to
it.
be protected from everything that's going on in the world.
That is amazing.
So yes,
That
this
is
is the
amazing.
only way to be protected in this
The
generation.
only thing is,
Decoy
I wish
voice.
it had an antenna on it. Yeah.
Oh no, that actually attracts more of the government surveillance, so you can't have the antenna. Well, not a lot of people know that. So.
Perfect. In the chat, they're saying put it on, Mary.
Okay, I just need to take the headphones
You gotta take the
off.
headphones off. You can do it. Let's see.
I have ears, guys. It's scary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling protected from the government 5G already.
Do you already feel better? You feel like all the toxins are gone.
safer.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought you looked like you were about to be a midwife with the thing
Is
on
it like a
right there.
bonnet? Oh, we got
is
a
it?
$20 one from High
nice.
Voltage 75. Just wanted to say, Brett, Mary, thanks for all you do to make PCC the one show I look forward to listening and watching every week. You guys are the cat's pajamas. Get some rest, feel better. See you next week. That's all. Well, thank you.
Yes, I can't wait for my voice to go back to normal.
Mine still isn't back to normal. Like, maybe it is to you guys, but I still don't feel totally back to normal. By Monday, hopefully, we will be just fine. Anyway.
But I appreciate the smoker cast. It sounds like you
Yeah.
guys are just like smoking through the entire thing.
The biggest insult that somebody gave me, there was like, you sound like you sound like the aunts from The Simpsons. I'm like, oh
Yes.
come on, dude.
That's the Halloween costume right now because they just wear that weird dress thing, right?
Oh
With the hair.
man, not fair, not fair. Mary, where can they find you? Oh, actually, before we go, I did finish the poll, and it says 59% say yes, they do support Mattel launching the Downs syndrome Barbie. So they're in line with
Pretty close vote, though, if you
yes.
think about it.
Yep.
All right.
Mary.
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or send me hate on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived. And I was on Primetime with Alex Stein last night. If you didn't see it, you should go watch it. Ian was there. He has been there for the past several days. It's incredible quality content. DD Megaduju said they thought I was watching Korn at work when I was watching your show. LOL. I don't think that there are many similarities. But
What?
I hope that you didn't get in trouble.
What are the similarities between Korn and us? I don't think there are any.
Yeah,
Do
I
you?
hope not.
I would hope not. We almost got a fourth crisis party. Damn it. All right,
Oh.
guys, before we go, like I said, like this video, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Thank you to everyone that joined us today that has not been here before. It means the world to me. Also, remember, we are here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you'd like to follow me, I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic on both platforms. If you would like to listen to this podcast rather than watch it, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode on Monday, hopefully feeling better. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.